subscribe, like the video, and, if possible, join Patreon. But if you don't have much money, you can support the channel by watching the novels on euroaudiobooks.com. Remember that you can participate in the polls so that your favorite novel gets published for free.
Wang had gone far away. He said to Wang Chu with excitement, "Good buddy, I knew you were definitely nice." "Who is nice to you?" Wang Chu took away his right hand that was supporting his chin and stretched it in front of Tang Yuki. "Look, how many is this?" Tang Yuki swallowed his saliva. "Is this 5? Right." Wang Chu narrowed his eyes with a smile. "Spider Goddess Assist counts as 5 small goals for you. Isn't it a good deal?" After giving Brother G a lot of gold coins, Wang Chu waited contentedly for Zing and Su Wanking to come out of the dungeon. Su Wanking's eyes were red, and the past remnants of dreams. Dungeon seemed to have brought her a great shock. The cruelty of war has a huge psychological impact on people. However, Su Wanking is not a psychologically fragile person. She took a few deep breaths and quickly adjusted herself. Then, Wang Chu followed Su Wanking to clear the CD of the ordinary dungeon. Compared with the comfort brought by the 500,000 experience of past remnants of dreams, the experience of the ordinary dungeon seems stingy. On the way back, Wang Chu briefly told Zing what happened just now. "Did you meet Guang?" Zing said, in surprise. "Do you still remember the day we first met, when we met Li Tianming?" Wang Chu note that he was the chief of the patrol officer at that time, a 6th rank pilot. Li Tianming is Li Xiaoshan's cousin. They are both from a Li family. As for this Guang, he is considered the top figure in the Imperial Capital Mechanical and Military College. He is one of the members of the school team participating in the global mechanical and military competition. Can you participate in the global mechanical and military competition at the 6th rank? Zing rolled her eyes. They're just students. The 6th rank is already very strong. Okay. Li Xiaoshan is just a playboy. No threat. As for that Guang, you have to be careful. Wang Chu was about to say something when his brows suddenly frowned. At this time, the spiritual pattern on his left hand suddenly began to heat up. Chapter 84, Brother Guang. In a wide training ground, Li Xiaoshan frowned and asked Guang who was training. "That Wang Chu is too arrogant. He just picked up the head of the spider goddess by chance. What is he doing? It's too much." Guang was standing on his back with his bare chest. Up and down, the movement was very stable, and the core was very strong. He turned his back to Li Xiaoshan, and a cold voice came. "Luck, Li Xiaoshan. There is no luck in the world of pilots. If you have that ability, you can also pick up the head of an abyss god." Li Xiaoshan seemed to have noticed that Guang's tone was not very kind, so he lowered his voice. "Brother Guang, am I not speaking up for you? You are a senior in the 3rd year and a 6th level pilot. How dare he ignore you? As a child of a noble family." Li Xiaoshan thought he had seen too many powerful pilots. In their Li family alone, there are 2 7th level pilots. Everyone said Wang Chu was a genius. So far, he has won 3 consecutive SSS level evaluations in the Abyss trial, ranking 1st. He is also famous in the entire Blue Star with the title of God Slayer. But putting these aside, isn't he just a 2nd level pilot? No matter how talented he is now at best a 2nd level pilot. He really doesn't know his position. Over the years, haven't there been many geniuses who died young? Li Xiaoshan's face was full of pride. "There is no need for my uncle to take action. Just call a 6th level pilot in the family, and he can beat Wang Chu up." Guang sneered and said righteously, "I warn you, you can't do anything reckless." There are 10,000 pairs of eyes staring at Wang Chu now, fearing that he might have a problem. If you want to die, you could just go and provoke him. Guang silently counted 500 times and then exerted a little force with his right hand. He turned over directly in the air and stood firmly on the ground. "I don't know anything else. I am very happy that our Daxia can produce a genius like Wang Chu. Only when Daxia has many talents, we will have more say on Blue Star." Li Xiaoshan looked at Guang's profile. His eyes revealed an indescribable admiration. He is really worthy of being the senior I admire. Not only is he powerful, but he is also so broad-minded. Compared to that, what's the use of Tang Yuki just being good-looking? Guang caught Li Shaoshan's eyes from the corner of his eyes, and cold sweat broke out on his back. Damn gay. If it weren't for your Li family's resources, I wouldn't even bother with you, you idiot. By the way, Brother Guang. Seeing Guang gradually turning around, Li Shaoshan put away his affectionate look. What did you say before about recommending me to the school team reserve team? How's it going? Guang pretended to be silent for a moment. It's a bit difficult. Generally speaking, there are only 2 places for freshmen to enter the school team reserve team. Now you know, with Wang Chu's fame and the strength he showed in the National Machine Weapon exam, these 2 places are probably him and Su Wanking. Speaking of Su Wanking, Guang narrowed his eyes, and his mind flashed back to the stunning moment when he saw her debut in the National Machine Weapon exam. Coincidentally, her absolute support is also the most suitable for him as a rating pilot. When Li Shaoshan heard this, he got anxious. Brother Guang, you have to help me say something good to the captain. I have provided you with so many resources. Guang waved his hand impatiently. The captain is now in retreat training, fully preparing for the National Mechanical and Military examination in a month. I was planning to wait for her to come out of retreat and recommend you to her as soon as possible. But who knew that Wang Chu and Su Wanking would show up halfway? You are also unlucky. Otherwise, you can wait and see next year. It doesn't say that you must enter the reserve team in your freshman year. Li Shaoshan's face began to darken. Entering the school team reserve team is one of his goals for entering the Imperial Capital Mechanical and Military University. Only by doing this can he fight for more resources in the family. What's more, Guang is also in the school team. Only by entering can he get one step closer to Guang. This position in the school team reserve team, he must have it. Looking at Li Shaoshan's expression, Guang showed an imperceptible smile at the corner of his mouth. What Li Shaoshan just said was not wrong. The reason is that's the truth. So what if you're a genius? You have to be able to grow up. What does absolute overclocking taste like? I really want to try it. Fuck, it's really hot. Wang Chu felt like his hands were about to catch fire. He activated the mecha state directly and rushed back to the villa. Seeing Ziying and Su Wanking behind him were stunned. What happened? Going to the bathroom? After returning to the villa, Wang Chu went straight back to his room. Take the egg out of the spirit pattern. Wang Chu sat in front of the table and placed the egg on the table. At this time, the egg was emitting a colorful light. What's the matter? Have you brushed enough steps? It's finally coming out. A few days ago, after Wang Chu downloaded a few copies and spent some alliance coins to buy some gold materials, he directly piled the egg progress bar to 100%. It's a pity. When the egg's progress bar reached 100%, it did not break the shell as expected, but entered a dormant period. At that time, Wang Chu was still thinking. It won't be like Pokemon. You need to brush the steps, right? It will come out after brushing enough steps. Is there a chance of giving birth to a shiny one? Do I still need to look at the individual value? I was still thinking whether to ask Principal Lynx or go to the library of the Imperial Capital Mechanical and Military High School to find out if there is any relevant information about the egg. As a result, it's about to be born? I'm going to be a father? Crack. The egg made a sound of the eggshell breaking. Wang Chu held his breath and concentrated, picked up the egg from the table, and held it with both hands. What can this egg give birth to? Wang Chu began to fantasize. Maybe it can give birth to a little spider goddess. If it's a spider spirit, then it's good to have a fourth sister. As time went by, the cracks on the eggshell became more and more. Here it comes. It comes out. The colorful light instantly filled the whole room. When the light gradually faded, Wang Chu looked at the white and tender feet in his hands and fell into a state of confusion. Man, a cold voice sounded. How long are you going to hold my feet? Chapter 85. Wang Chu. No. Who can tell me? How can such a small egg hatch such a big person? Wang Chu raised his head. The royal sister in front of him had one leg on the table and the other on her palm. Don't ask why there are so many legs. Just ask because you are afraid. The long black hair flowed down the snow-capped mountains like a waterfall. The white and delicate waist has no flaws, and the skin is as tender as if it has just shed its shell. Well, it really just came out of the eggshell. After all, there is nothing at all. Except for the hair, there is nothing at all. When has Wang Chu seen such a scene? Raise the flag and salute. My highest respect. Hiss. That's not right. Wang Chu blinked and suddenly remembered something. He couldn't help rubbing his hands again, and the warm touch was transmitted to his palms. It was so real. I thought the egg would hatch a little spider goddess. But it actually hatched a spider goddess for me? After thinking for a moment, Wang Chu thought that this might be the work of the river crab god. After all, it is not convenient for minors to appear here. But Wang Chu looked at the spider goddess Meredith and asked his own question. You were born from my egg. The first sentence you said when you saw me should not be, are you my master? This script is not right. Just as Wang Chu was about to let go, a white light burst out from the necklace on Wang Chu's neck. Urza stood on the ground, looking very angry. She put her hands on her waist and pointed at the spider goddess Meredith on the table and said, Where did you come from, you goblin? How dare you seduce my god's messenger? Take your feet away from my favorite god's messenger. Immediately, right now, Meredith looked at Urza, who suddenly appeared and narrowed her eyes. She smelled the scent of the pretentious elf goddess from Urza. You want me to take it away? Do you deserve it? She laughed tenderly and did not take her left foot away from Wang Chu's hands, but turned it vigorously in her palm. Urza was anxious. She was about to climb onto the table and have a battle between women with Meredith. Dump, dump, dump. Wang Chu called for a pause and reluctantly let go of his feet. In fact, Wang Chu received a reminder sound as early as the moment the egg was hatched. Ding, you get the ownership of Spider Goddess Meredith. Ding, you are bound to Spider Goddess Meredith. Under the gaze of the Abyss, Meredith's introduction is completely different from before. Spider Goddess Meredith, Level 2, Strength, 1000, Agility, 1000, Defense, 1000, Skills, None ability, Spider Costume. Introduction. My mind is full of the image of Lord Wang Chu in melee combat. So handsome. Just looking at the 3 measurements, Meredith, who just hatched from the egg, is not very good. But she has a special ability. Spider Costume, Meredith bound, Level 2, Rainbow Color. Effect, all attributes plus 6,000. Additional entries. Never worn, will not be damaged by battle. Enemy destroying. Each time an enemy is killed, all attributes plus 1. Upper limit 6,000. Adaptive automatically adapt to the level of the binder. Mimicry can adapt to all forms of costumes. Curse immunity, immune to all curses. Introduction. You have absolute control over the spider costume. Wearing it is like sticking it on. Do you feel it? This is my temperature. Good guy. Another artifact like Elf Holy Sword, Urza, but the added attributes are twice that of the Elf Holy Sword of the same level. Is it because it occupies 2 slots? Generally speaking, the attribute bonus of the 2nd level gold equipment module is 300 points, and the weapon module is 600 points. The basic attributes of the Elf Holy Sword have always been 10 times that of ordinary modules of the same level. The basic attributes of the 2nd level, Elf Holy Sword, have reached 3,000 points. After the enemy destroying effect is superimposed, it can reach 6,000 points of all attribute bonus. And the spider costume, the basic attribute bonus is 6,000 points. After the enemy destroying effect is superimposed, it will reach a terrifying 12,000 points of all attribute bonus. As for how many grids it occupies, you'll know after trying it. Wang Chu looked at Meredith, whose eyes were as clear as water and as charming as silk. Spider costume activated. As soon as the words fell, there was no movement in the room. Wang Chu. Spider Goddess Meredith chuckled and raised her eyebrows at Wang Chu. At this moment, Wang Chu remembered when he activated Elf Holy Sword Urza. Did you also? Hey, this is really not my intention. Sorry. Wang Chu finished speaking. He stretched out his hand. The next second, a fierce light burst out from the top of the snowy mountain. Meredith turned into a white light and began to swirl and spread along Wang Chu's arm. Then it was the shoulders, chest, and lower abdomen. Finally, It went all the way down and wrapped Wang Chu's whole body. After a moment, the white light dissipated. Wang Chu was already wrapped in a red tights, and a warm touch came. It really felt like being close to him. As for what it looked like, well, it looked like Spider-Man without a hood. There was no way. The moment Wang Chu saw the spider costume, the first thought that came to his mind was Spider-Man. That's good. Spider-Man turned out to be me. All the attributes of my body have increased by 600. This spider costume is the same as Elf Holy Sword. Both can increase all the attributes of my body. Now, just check the activation status of the mecha. Yuanqi Sword Fighting Type. Activated. The white light lit up. Wang Chu was already in the state of activating the Exoskeleton mecha. Fuck. Wang Chu was surprised to find that. The 4 equipment modules installed on the Yuanqi Sword Fighting Type were still in the activated state. At the same time, the attribute bonus of Spider Costume is also added. In other words, I already have a whole set of module attributes that are always more than other pilots. The attributes are several times more. You are really worthy of being a god of the abyss. After canceling the exoskeleton mecha state, Meredith also automatically canceled the costume form. Her slender fingers gently rested on her bright red lips. Her eyes were captivating, and her lips were slightly open. Her mouth shape said, "Big." Chapter 86 Big? What big? Wang Chu didn't react at first. Following Meredith's silky eyes, he looked down. Damn, you mean this big? I was teased by a pet that just hatched from an egg. Master, Meredith had a charming smile on her face, stepped out her white and round long legs, moved lightly, and walked to Wang Chu's side with a swaying posture. Then, she tiptoed gently, put her delicate red lips next to Wang Chu's ear, and whispered, "I haven't seen you for several days. New family, I miss you so much." A few strands of hair brushed Wang Chu's cheeks, bringing a faint touch. Perhaps it was because she had just come out of the egg. A faint milky fragrance lingered on her body. Hiss! Wang Chu took a breath, leaned back, and saw Meredith's delicate face with a smile. Urza beside him was stunned. No? She's so good. When has she ever seen such a scene? After a moment of shock, she immediately reacted. No, the Lord of God is mine. You shameless, burning woman. Put it on quickly. What? She is the spider goddess? Zy exclaimed, with an unbelievable look on her face. Inside the villa, Wang Chu sat on the sofa, playing a well-behaved JPG. Opposite him, Su Wanking blinked her big eyes full of resentment and sighed. So, is this all that happened in your room just now? I haven't seen you for a while. Brother Wang Chu has a strange woman around him. That's right. Aluza sat next to Su Wanking, looking like she was here first. Lord God, you can't just bring people home like this. You already have Urza. A few days ago, there was a sister Zing, and now there's another idiot. Zing had already brought a watermelon and was ready to watch the show. But, Kumi? She raised her index finger and pointed at herself, looking confused. What does it have to do with me? On the other side, the focus of several people, Meredith was lazily leaning on the sofa. At this time, she had put on a silky long skirt, and the hem of the skirt flowed slowly along the sofa. The white right leg gently rests on the left leg. The movement is graceful and soothing, and the slit of the silk dress is so eye-catching. The girls present looked at Meredith, and they all felt a little bit of oppression. After all, the other party is also an abyss god. Wang Chu felt that the atmosphere in the room was getting more and more wrong. He quickly changed the subject. Meredith, how much do you remember about the past? If the other party has the memory of being an abyss god, it will be of great help to me. Many puzzles can be solved at once. But there is little hope. Meredith blinked her beautiful eyes and said to Wang Chu with a smile, "Except for the last battle with the Master, I don't remember anything. My mind is all about the Master. You are quite proud?" Wang Chu sighed lightly. As expected, this bug still didn't work. However, Wang Chu was already very satisfied. The power of Spider Costume is beyond doubt. I must warn you of a few things now. Wang Chu looked at Meredith with a serious face. You must not show your true appearance in front of outsiders. Yo, yo, yo. Master's really stingy. Don't worry, I will only show it to Master. Wang Chu held his forehead. Is this the same thing? This is not something to joke about casually. No matter how he became a pet, Meredith only lost the purple spider mark on his forehead, and the rest of his appearance remained unchanged. If he appeared in front of everyone like this, it would be inevitable that some people would recognize him. At that time, troubles would ensue. Forget about the rest. Just finish this first. That's it for today. Everyone is tired. Let's go to bed early. After saying that, Wang Chu was the first to stand up. Meredith also stood up and followed behind Wang Chu. Wang Chu, sleep in a room by yourself. Oh, okay. Meredith looked regretful. Su Wanking and Urza sighed together. Why do I feel that these days are getting more and more lively? Click. After Wang Chu returned to the room, he locked the door immediately. Then, he immediately activated the imaginary enemy ability. Today, I trained for several hours at the entrance of the time and space Guishu dungeon to no avail. Why can the opponent use a skill like Buddha's Wrath Lotus? Although this skill is just a scratch for me. But I have to say that if Nox is in a complete state, he will definitely become the most terrifying killer on the interstellar battlefield. The thousands of leaves transformed by the Blue Lotus have extremely powerful power. Wang Chu frowned and looked at Nox, standing quietly in the imaginary enemy training space. I've been training for so long and have mastered the sword skills of Sword Art, Unparalleled Phantom, but I have no idea about Nox's last move. Could it be that the other party is also the owner of the ability module? The ability module is like the third-level pilot he faced in the Yang City Alliance Army. The purple, flame drive, core chip module gave him the ability to control fire. But I didn't feel any energy fluctuations from Nox's Buddha's Wrath Lotus. The feeling that the Blue Lotus gave me is more appropriate to describe it as sword intent. There was even a moment when Wang Chu felt that he had entered the world of fairy tales. Can human power and the power of mechas really achieve the step of gathering sword energy? After a moment of hesitation, Wang Chu felt that it was useless to get stuck in a dead end here. Nox is a real person who appeared in history books. Why not find some time to look up the information or ask Old Man Links? Although I can't learn Buddha's Wrath Lotus, Sword Art Unparalleled Phantom is still worth practicing. Wang Chu's thoughts moved, and Nox, who was standing quietly, moved. Come on, teach me all your swordsmanship. Chapter 87. The next day, Wang Chu exited from the imaginary enemy state. A faint milky fragrance has already flowed into his nose. Wang Chu sighed while looking at the ceiling. This door lock can't stop you after all. Oh hi, Dogshio Jinsama. Where did you learn these messy things? Hey, I looked through the master's phone last night, and in some weird videos inside, they all greeted each other like this in the morning. Fuck. Wang Chu suddenly jumped up and grabbed his phone. Those videos. I really don't have much time to watch them since I became a pilot. But Wang Chu has been reluctant to delete these resources that he has finally found. Looking at Meredith. For a moment, Wang Chu wanted to stuff the other party back into the egg. How did such a big trouble hatch? The next second, Wang Chu directly activated the dress form. Activate the spider costume. Since Meredith is so naughty, let's just stay in the costume. Meredith turned into a white light and began to attach to Wang Chu. Then, turned into a pair of underwear. No, Wang Chu was stunned and fiddled with the spider costume. Yesterday, it was still Spider-Man's suit. Why did it turn into underwear today? Don't move. That's the feeling so warm. Meredith seemed to stretch, and her lazy voice reached Wang Chu's ears. Damn, the underwear spoke. Wang Chu sighed. Forget it, it's just a baby who was born one day ago. I've already raised her, let her be. You all tried past remnants. Yesterday, will you try Miracle Star Source today? Zi-ing asked in front of the entrance to the time and space return dungeon. Wang Chu shook his head. I don't lack modules recently. Let's brush Abyss of Creation first. Now he's a man with more than 1 billion Alliance coins. If he lacks any modules, he can just buy them directly. On the contrary, the materials for building mechas are difficult to get. The explosion rate of rare materials is low, and good ones are hard to come by. Previously, he had a preliminary idea for the third set of mechas, So he kept Heart of the Flame Demon. But when it came to building it, Wang Chu hesitated. It's not that Heart of the Flame Demon is not good. It's just that Wang Chu thinks that if he uses the same formula as building Yuanshi sword fighting type, if the third set of mecha is simply constructed with the formula of Heart of the Flame Demon plus Spring of Life plus drawing a mecha that is almost the same as Yuanshi sword fighting type will be constructed. At most, the attributes and appearance are not quite the same. That is not what Wang Chu wants. Regarding this question, Wang Chu specially consulted Huang Lei before leaving Xingqing. The answer he got was, many times, some seemingly useless materials can have unexpected effects. However, more often, no one dares to try those seemingly useless materials easily. Because the number of times to construct a mecha is limited, no one wants to try it casually. After thinking about it, Wang Chu slapped his thigh. Unexpected effect. How can you achieve unexpected results? In other words, doesn't it just require good luck? Then do I lack luck? I am not short of luck when I am by Su Wanking's side. As long as you have the luck, 1% probability can be successfully amplified. Okay, then you guys brush it. See you later. After saying that, Xing turned around and left to brush her own past dreams. Wang Chu and Su Wanking looked at each other and activated the copy. Ding, you have entered Abyss of Creation. Level 2, difficulty, Nightmare level. Task, kill all creatures in the Abyss of Creation. Introduction. This world gave birth to many strange creatures, each of which has its own value. What kind of creatures can you meet? Tip, you can exit Abyss of Creation at any time. Note that you will not be able to get rewards if you exit early. Ding, in 10 seconds, the first wave of creatures in the Abyss of Creation will be refreshed. After opening his eyes, Wang Chu found that he and Su Wanking were in a huge ravine. The cliffs on both sides are steep and rugged, reaching into the sky, and their tops are invisible. Looking up from the bottom of the valley, the sky is squeezed into a narrow gap by the cliffs on both sides. The light can only squeeze in through the gap with difficulty, casting dots of light on the bottom of the valley. So, Origin of Creation is a copy that refreshes monster waves. Wang Chu looked at the sky, emitting faint light, and thought for a moment. Suddenly, in the sky, meteorite-shaped creatures emitting cold light fell one after another like raindrops. They cut through the narrow sky squeezed by the cliffs, dragging bright tails of light, like a group of uninvited guests from the depths of the universe. Wang Chu squinted his eyes and looked at these meteors. Is this the creature of the Abyss of Creation? In an instant, the meteorite crashed to the bottom of the valley, splashing large pieces of dust and sand, and each impact was accompanied by a dull, loud noise. Then, the meteorite that fell on the ground began to crack, and golden light seeped out from the cracks, and the shell slowly peeled off like a broken eggshell. Roar! One after another, giant beasts drilled out of the meteorite and roared. Flame Crystal Giant Beast Boss. Level 2, level 25. Strength, 2,500. Agility, 1,500. Defense, 2,500. Skills, Flame Crystal Explosion, Flame Breath. Weakness, Flame Crystal. Introduction. Giant beast born from the Flame Crystal. In the first wave, a total of 3 Creation Abyss creatures were spawned. They are all level 25 boss-level creatures of level 2. If it were an ordinary pilot, facing a copy of this intensity, it would be difficult not to come in and spawn. Su Wanking whispered on the side. Wang Chu nodded and agreed with Su Wanking's statement. This is only the first wave. For ordinary pilots, the intensity is already high. However, buzz, in just a blink of an eye, the 3 giant beasts turned into white starlight and dispersed. For me, what's so difficult about this copy? Super easy, okay? Boom, boom, boom. Waves of meteorites kept falling. Until the 5th wave, only one huge meteorite streaked across the sky and fell down. Crack. The huge meteorite made a cracking sound. Then, a sharp phoenix cry came from the meteorite. The next moment, the meteorite exploded. Wang Chu looked at the creature hovering in the air in front of him and narrowed his eyes. Flame Soul Holy Phoenix, Boss. Level 2, level 30. Strength, 3000. Agility, 3000. Defense, 3000. Skills, Nirvana Rebirth, Flame Feather Sky Flying, Holy Flame Domain. Weakness, none. Introduction. A legendary bird that was reborn from the fire of creation. Chapter 88, Cry. The Flame Soul Phoenix spread its huge wings and let out a high-pitched and sharp cry. Her feathers were dancing like burning flames. Her eyes were like two bright rubies, deep and smart. Well, let's not talk about the attributes first. Just looking at the appearance, it's not simple. Wang Chu commented, "This Flame Soul Phoenix is like a combination of Moltres and Phoenix in Pokemon, with the temperament of a legendary Pokemon." The next moment, Wang Chu moved. Yuanshi, sword, fighting type, disappeared from the original place. A white figure instantly appeared in front of the Flame Soul Phoenix, and the long sword in his hand was casually waved. If you only have this attribute, you are not worthy of being the boss of the dungeon. Wang Chu looked at the Flame Soul Phoenix and said lightly, "Buzz." The terrifying power exploded in an instant. The sword seemed to tear the space apart with unrivaled momentum, and it very cleanly split the Flame Soul Phoenix in two. The next second, boom, the scorching flames rose up. A surging flame force suddenly surged out, quickly wrapping the remains of the Flame Soul Phoenix, forming a huge flame egg. The sound of the phoenix came from the flame egg. It could be vaguely seen that the egg is shining, the energy is surging, and the soul power of the Flame Soul Phoenix is burning inside. Wang Chu pointed his sword diagonally and stood on the ground. The flame egg is beginning to breathe new life, more vigorous than before. Is this the power of Nirvana Rebirth? Wang Chu's eyes showed a hint of expectation. This is exactly the ability he wants. If this Nirvana ability can be put on the new mecha. Crack. While thinking, the flame egg suddenly exploded. The raging flames seemed to burn everything around. Cry. The Flame Soul Phoenix howled to the sky. The entire ravine began to vibrate because of her cry, and rocks kept falling from the cliffs on both sides. In Wang Chu's Eye of the Abyss, the attributes of the Flame Soul Phoenix had undergone earth-shaking changes. Flame Soul Phoenix, Boss. Level 2, level 30. Strength, 6000. Agility, 6000. Defense, 6000. Skills, Nirvana Rebirth, Cooling Down. Flame Feather Sky Flying, Holy Flame Domain. Weakness, none. The Flame Soul Phoenix after Nirvana Rebirth. All attributes are actually twice as much as before. This skill is too good. The Flame Soul Phoenix raised its proud head, and its gem-like eyes looked at Wang Chu with a mocking look. Just like saying, "Are you stupid? I have 2 stages. I want it so much." Wang Chu rubbed his hands excitedly. If I can rely on the materials exploded by the Flame Soul Saint Phoenix to build a mecha with the skill Nirvana Rebirth, wouldn't I have 3 stages? Give it to you. The Flame Soul Saint Phoenix was still complacent about its powerful power after Nirvana Rebirth. In the field of vision of his eyes, a long sword suddenly attacked. The Flame Soul Saint Phoenix, which was reborn from Nirvana, disappeared in a flash. Ding! You have cleared all creatures in the Abyss of Creation. The Abyss of Creation copy has been cleared, and the material Golden Feather has been obtained. Just one material. Wang Chu was stunned. You can also get 500,000 experience points at once through Remnant Dreams of the Past. And clearing Abyss of Creation not only does not give you any experience points, but you also only get 1 item. No wonder most students choose to brush Remnant Dreams of the Past to increase their upgrade speed. As for brushing dungeons like Star Source of Miracles and Abyss of Creation, if you are unlucky, it is completely in vain. Waste of CD. Not to mention that sometimes you finally get a gold, but it is still useless garbage. Wang Chu entered the spirit pattern to check the materials he had just obtained. Golden Feather, quality, gold. Level, none. Introduction. The Golden Feather drop from the Flame Soul Saint Phoenix has a terrifying fire attribute, although it is a golden quality material. But looking at this introduction, I can't see any information at all. Wang Chu fell into deep thought. Originally, I was still looking forward to a material that could add special abilities or skills to the third set of mecha. The result was not as I wished. So should I add it now or not? If I add it, it feels like opening a blind box. If not, you could spend some alliance coins to buy a material with a decent ability or skill. After thinking for a while, Wang Chu decided, add. Anyway, it is a gold product. The quality of the materials is not bad at all. The most important thing is, what if? As the countdown of the dungeon ends, the scene changes, and Wang Chu and Su Wanking have appeared at the dungeon transmission entrance. The students around are doing their own things, preparing for the next dungeon. Wanking, accompany me to the casting room. I plan to cast my third mecha. Su Wanking nodded. Okay, then I will send a message to Sister Xing and ask her to find us in the casting room after leaving the dungeon. Only Wang Chu will cast the mecha this time. Su Wanking had already completed the casting of the third mecha before entering the national mecha exam. After all, she has a father who is a 7th level pilot, and many things have been prepared for her. There are fewer people here than in time and space return to the ruins. When I came to the casting room of the Imperial Capital Mecha University, there were only a few people here. As a student of Imperial Capital Mechanical and Military High School, you can choose some free and high-quality casting materials in the casting room. This is a benefit for being a student. However, some high-quality and high-level materials need to be purchased with credits. Hey, that person seems to be Wang Chu. What is he doing here? What else can he do here? Cast a mecha. Several students looked at Wang Chu and whispered, "That's right, I always saw him using that silver-white mecha." It turns out that he hasn't cast the third mecha yet. I'm a little curious suddenly. What do you think Wang Chu's third mecha will look like? Who knows? But I guess it must be very handsome. Enter the casting room. Urza directly canceled the elf holy sword, forming a place where there were no outsiders. Wang Chu activated the spirit pattern and took out the materials one by one. Heart of the Flame Demon, Fountain of Life, Golden Feather. These 3 materials are the main materials. This time, Wang Chu also spent 100 million alliance coins to buy a new blueprint. Attribute Allocation Blueprint. Casting Blueprint, the basic attributes of a mecha, can be freely allocated according to 10 equal parts. If Brother G hadn't given him a lot of gold coins, Wang Chu would really be reluctant to spend 100 million to buy a blueprint. However, the changes brought about by this Attribute Allocation Blueprint are also huge. After everything is ready, Wang Chu sat cross-legged on the ground. His thoughts entered the spiritual pattern. The third mecha, casting. Start. Chapter 89. Wang Chu had practiced the third mecha's appearance countless times in the imaginary enemy training space. When he started to build it, all his movements were smooth. Heart of the Flame Demon and Golden Feathers had turned into blazing flames. Under Wang Chu's precise control, the prototype of the mecha gradually began to emerge. Cool, really cool. Wang Chu was more and more satisfied as he looked at it. Regarding the attribute allocation drawing, Wang Chu's plan was 7:2:1. For example, the original basic attributes of the second-level exoskeleton mecha were 1,000 points of strength, 1,000 points of agility, and 1,000 points of defense. The total basic attributes were 3,000 points. After Wang Chu's redistribution, the attributes became 2,100 points of strength, 600 points of agility, and 300 points of defense. As for why he had to sacrifice a lot of defense in exchange for high power, Wang Chu had such a plan. Excluding the basic Zero mech, he already has a Weiwanshi sword fighting type with very balanced attributes. Then, each mech that is cast next should have its own characteristics. Either the attack power is very top, or the speed is very fast, or the defense is full. This third mech is the one that focuses on high attack power. As for why not just increase the strength to 8:1:1. Agility is also a very important attribute. If you can't catch up with the opponent, high strength alone is pure kite. Wang Chu took into account the absolute overclocking attribute bonus and combined it with his own wind-fixing ability and other factors. Finally decided to allocate 20% of agility. In this way, while trying to allocate the attributes to strength, it can also ensure that the speed is fully sufficient to achieve cross-level crushing. After casting the appearance, Wang Chu began to color. Unlike the Yuanshi sword fighting type, with simpler colors, this third mech is richer in color. Red is the main color, gold, pink, silver. It's a mess. Friends who have painted know that this process is too painful. Finally, Wang Chu breathed a sigh of relief. Fortunately, coloring is coloring, but you don't have to wait for it to dry like glue. To this step, the third mecha, finally the casting is completed. Wang Chu opened his eyes. A flickering flame flashed in his eyes. At this time, in the construction room, Su Wanking was squatting on the side, with her white palms supporting her chin and her delicate face slightly tilted to the left. Seeing Wang Chu wake up, her eyes as beautiful as starlight instantly bloomed. She couldn't help but smile, full of endless joy. She jumped 2 steps to Wang Chu. "Brother Wang Chu, you finally finished the casting." Wang Chu smiled faintly and rubbed Su Wanking's little head with his hand. Ziying sat on the side and yawned. Looking at Ziying's sleepy face, Wang Chu asked, "Does the casting take a long time this time?" Su Wanking nodded. "Yes, it took more than 4 hours in total." Wang Chu raised his eyebrows. "So long. I thought I was already very skilled, but I didn't expect it to take so long." "It doesn't matter as long as it's Brother Wang Chu. I can wait for you." Su Wanking put her hands behind her back and enjoyed Wang Chu's pat on the head. She is really worthy of being Xiao Cha Cha, and the emotional value she provides is full. Wang Chu sighed in his heart. "By the way, Brother Wang Chu, I just received a call from my father saying that the matter of the orphanage has made new progress." "Oh, speaking of the orphanage," Wang Chu immediately perked up. At that time, the people in the entire orphanage disappeared completely, as if they had never appeared. If the orphanage was not still there, retaining a lot of life, it would almost make people feel like it was a dream. Su Wanking said with a rare, serious expression. "My father said he tracked down the whereabouts of the children who left the orphanage in the past 20 years. Most of the people can still be contacted, and about 40% of the people cannot be contacted. If you only look at this data, everything is normal." Wang Chu nodded. It was indeed normal. Originally, pilots are a high-risk profession, and you don't know when they will die in the dungeon. What's more, these people who walked out of the orphanage have no one to rely on, and they need to change their lives by going to the dungeon. But my father still found a suspicious point. The core chip modules of the 60% of children who can still be contacted. All are white and green quality. As for the children with core chip modules of blue quality or above, none of them can be contacted. Hearing this, a terrifying thought came to my mind. Although the probability of white and green quality core chip modules is the highest, but there shouldn't be no blue quality or above, right? Could it be Devour? Ziying said in a deep voice. The situation you're talking about is most likely caused by the Devourer. The Devourer can improve its own core chip module by devouring other people's core chip modules, or even obtain a small part of the other party's core chip module capabilities. But they don't devour everything. If a large number of pilots disappear, it is very easy to attract the attention of others. So the Devourer will generally choose pilots with better talents. According to your father, the orphanage where you grew up may have been built by the Devourer to facilitate devouring. Although Wang Chu and Su Wanking had some guesses in their hearts, they couldn't help but feel cold behind their backs when Ziying pointed it out. Grandpa and Grandma, the dean, the reason why they adopted so many orphans is to raise pigs, wait until they are fat, and then kill them. Wang Chu smiled bitterly. He was lucky, thanks to Su Wanking. There was a 7th-level pilot watching from behind, so they didn't dare to easily attack themselves, the owner of absolute overclocking. Or, he did it, but he just didn't notice it. Wang Chu thought of the Abyss pilot he met at the beginning. Does the Devourer have the ability to control the breath of the Abyss? Wang Chu looked at Ziying and asked. Ziying shook her head. "I know what you mean, but the Devourer is the Devourer, and the Abyss creature is the Abyss creature. They are two different beings. but it is not ruled out that they have the possibility of joining forces. The atmosphere began to become heavy. Ziying blinked and said with a curious look, "Let's put this matter aside for now. It's useless for you to think about it. Someone from above will investigate it. But you've already built the third mecha. Don't you plan to let us see it?" Speaking of this, Su Wanking's attention also shifted. "Okay." Wang Chu's mouth corners slightly raised. "Then let you see it. Neza, activate." Chapter 90 in an instant. A hot and dazzling light burst out in the casting room. The light was like a newborn star, instantly dispelling all the shadows in the room. A face armor with a youthful feel appeared in front of several people. The gem-like blue eyes lit up slightly. "Fuck, is it so cool?" Ziying was stunned. The appearance of Wang Chu's third mecha hit her heart completely. The bright and strong red color was like a burning and jumping flame. Every outline was like a carefully carved work of art, showing unparalleled beauty. On the left waist of the Neza mecha, 2 golden 5-pointed stars were engraved. Another legendary exoskeleton mecha of golden quality. Ziying's scalp tingled. The most important thing was that she could clearly feel the terrifying explosive power hidden under this mecha. If Wang Chu punched her, he would have to kneel down on the spot and beg her not to die. The next second, Urza felt the call of Neza and turned into a white light flowing into Wang Chu's hand. As the white light gradually condensed, the fire spear was firmly held in Wang Chu's hand. Pure, scorching flames gushed out from the tip of the spear, showing a deep and gorgeous color, as if to burn everything to ashes. Wang Chu raised the fire spear that Urza had transformed into and clicked his tongue twice. "This fire spear is cool. I just learned swordsmanship, and now I have to switch to a spear. No, not only spears. If you turn on the Dharma mode, Neza has a head and 6 arms. Each hand can independently control a weapon. Mecha, Neza Exoskeleton Mecha, Core Chip Module, Absolute Overclocking Gold, Weapon Module, Elf Holy Sword, Left Limb Module, Flame Roaring Arm Armor, Right Limb Module, Flame Roaring Arm Armor, Left Foot Module, Flame Roaring Leg Armor, Right Foot Module, Flame Roaring Leg Armor, Multifunction Module, Flame Energy Core, Neza, Spider Costume, Level, Second Level, 27th Level 63,000/9000. Strength, 162,015, 144,000 plus 3,000 plus 6,000 plus 6015 plus 3,000. Agility, 43,215, 31200 plus 6,000 plus 6015. Defense, 27,315, 15300 plus 6,000 plus 6015. Free attribute points, 0. Durability, 100%. Consumption speed plus 1,500%. Additional entries, Dragon Power, Dragon Claw, Critical Strike, Dragon Heart, Flame Roar, Other States, Elf Goddess's Blessing, 2. Wind Affinity Reduced, Skills, Eye of the Abyss, Imaginary Enemy, Destruction Mode, Mecha Skills, Nirvana Rebirth, Dharma Form. Abilities, Sayu's Constitution, Exclusive, Wind Stabilization, Hiss. After reading his own attributes, Wang Chu took a breath. When constructing the third mecha, Neza, Wang Chu thought that he would be very strong, but he didn't expect that he would be so strong. Only at level 27 of the second stage. With a distribution of 7:2:1 attributes, he actually already has 160,000 plus power points. So terrifying. This is not the most important thing. The most important thing is the 2 exclusive abilities that come with it. Neza Mecha, Rebirth in Nirvana. When a mecha is broken, it will be reborn from the ashes, and all attributes of Neza Mecha will double. Duration, 30 minutes. Cooling time, 24 hours. Dharma mode. Turn on the Dharma mode, and a 6-armed form will be activated. All attributes of Neza Mecha will increase by 1.5 times. Duration, 10 minutes. Cooling time, 1 hour. Golden Feather is really powerful. Bring the Rebirth in Nirvana, of the flame, soul, holy phoenix, Teneza. Is this the value of Su wanking? Wang Chu sighed and felt sorry for his future enemies. I can only say that if anyone targets me, he is really unlucky for 8 lifetimes. I really have 3 stages. When the opponent thinks he has blown up his exoskeleton mecha and is complacent, I am reborn in nirvana. Then, when the opponent finally exhausted the 2nd stage with double the attributes, final ripple start, Myolock open. I'm here again. Surprised or not? Unexpected or not? After seeing the attributes of his mecha, Wang Chu calmed down and canceled the mecha state. In an instant, the temperature in the casting room dropped several degrees. Congratulations, brother Wang Chu. Su wanking naturally hugged Wang Chu's arm and said sweetly. She could clearly sense Wang Chu's excitement. This made her happy. The shadows brought by the orphanage just now were dispelled a lot. Wang Chu touched Su wanking's little head and said proudly, "This time I'm really awesome. In the future, if there are any people like the spider goddess, I will beat one. If there are 2, I will beat 2. As soon as the voice fell, Wang Chu hissed and bent down slightly. Some birds moved again. I was wrong. Su wanking tilted her head, thinking about where Wang Chu was wrong. Zing, what will the endless return to the ruins look like when it opens tomorrow, Sunday? Can you tell me about it? Okay. Somewhere in the Imperial Capital Mechanical and Military College. In an office, a young man was sitting on the sofa with his legs crossed. In front of him, a man in the uniform of the Imperial Capital Mechanical and Military College bowed slightly and said respectfully, "Master, are you really going to open a back door in the endless return to the ruins tomorrow?" Li Shaoshan nodded calmly. Yes. The man cautiously probed. Master, does the master know about this? Hearing this, Li Shaoshan angrily slammed the table. Bang. What does it matter if my grandfather knows about it? I am the only direct descendant of the Li family. I will do whatever I want. The man looked embarrassed. He was a logistics staff member of the Li family working at the Imperial Capital Mechanical and Military College. For a dungeon like Time and Space Return, it is not easy to open a back door in Endless Return. Coincidentally, the work he is doing is related to the maintenance of the Time and Space Return dungeon, and he has the authority to open the back door. Don't worry, nothing will happen. Li Shaoshan patted his shoulder. It's just to go in and teach a nasty personal lesson. Besides, the Time and Space Return dungeon can be exited at will. If the other party senses the danger, can't they just exit the dungeon directly? On the contrary, if you can't even figure this out, Li family, don't stay. Yes, the man lowered his head, and after feeling that Li Shaoshan was getting farther and farther away, he silently took out his mobile phone. Master, there is something I need to report to you. Chapter 91. Fuck. So many people. Wang Chu showed Zhou Sun's face and said in surprise. This is the first time he has seen so many students from the Imperial Capital Mechanical and Military College since he enrolled in the past few days. All of them are crowded in front of the teleportation entrance of the Time and Space Return dungeon. It can be seen how important the Endless Return on Sunday is to the pilots. Yesterday, Ziying has already introduced the general situation of Endless Return to Wang Chu and Su wanking. To put it simply, Endless Return is a Sunday limited time event for climbing the tower. Do you understand what the value of a limited time event is? In Endless Return, each floor will randomly generate one from the 3 dungeons of Past Remnants of Dreams, Miracle Star Source, and Source of Creation. That is to say, it is possible to encounter Past Remnants of Dreams 4 or 5 times in a row after entering Endless Return. It is also possible to encounter Miracle Star Source and Abyss of Creation 4 or 5 times in a row. If you encounter more Past Remnants of Dreams and clear them all, for pilots, the upgrade speed will soar like a rocket. Alas, I rely on Sunday every week to get by. Isn't it? Waiting for the dungeon to open, Wang Chu listened to the students around him chatting idly. It's too hard to earn credits. It's better to enter Endless Return, which only consumes credits from Time and Space Return once. If you're lucky, You can kill some simple monsters and kill several more layers at a time. Isn't it? Hey, how strong do you think Captain Xiao is now? I heard that she killed more than 20 layers of endless return by herself last time. With such terrifying data, she is still a human being. Isn't it? What a pity. TSK. Only Captain Xiao is so strong in our Imperial Capital Mechanical and Military College. The Global Mechanical Weapon College competition is a team competition. What's the point of being strong alone? However, it would be nice if we could win the singles championship this year. Captain Xiao was just a little short of that last year. Isn't it? Oh, by the way, this year our school has a God Slayer. I think his name is Wang Chu. If he is given 2 years, he will probably become the main force of the school team. But by the time he grows up, Captain Xiao will have graduated. Isn't it? Wang Chu listened for a long time. This, isn't it, with a tone of despair, is really brainwashing. I can imagine the scene. There's a friend who keeps talking, and I have to give him face and praise him from time to time. Just when I wanted to see where this talent combination came from, there were bursts of exclamations from the crowd. Fuck, it's Captain Xiao. Where's Captain Xiao? Don't stand on tiptoe. The more you stand on tiptoe, the less you can see. Wang Chu also looked around curiously. He had heard Ziying mention Captain Zhao's name several times in the past 2 days. As the captain of the Imperial Capital Mechanical and Military College, she is just a senior this year, and her strength is already comparable to that of a 7th level pilot. However, it is said that her level is still stuck at the 6th level and has not been promoted. I don't know what she is waiting for. Looking around for a long time, Wang Chu only saw the crowd separating to both sides, but he didn't see Captain Xiao. Hey kid, a cold voice sounded. Wang Chu was stunned for a moment. This voice seems a little close. Brother Wang Chu. Su Wanking pulled the corner of Wang Chu's clothes and whispered, "Look down." At Su Wanking's reminder, Wang Chu looked down. A girl was looking up at him coldly. "You are Wang Chu, right? Nice to meet you. I am Xiao Mengyin." Wang Chu's pupils widened instantly. This girl, who is less than 1.5 meters tall at most, is the legendary fierce Xiao Mengyin? Why is she different from what I imagined? Legal lowly? The Xiao Mengyin that everyone talks about is terrifying. At this time, she was wearing an exquisite and gorgeous Lolita dress, and the pink and white skirt was like layers of blooming flowers. In sharp contrast to this sweet dress is her delicate face that is as cold as frost. Under the small nose bridge, her thin lips are slightly pursed, and her eyes are like a deep cold pool, revealing a sense of alienation that keeps people away from her. Wang Chu looked her up and down carefully, and then set his eyes where any man would set his eyes. Airport. Boy, what are you looking at? Xiao Mengyin's face became even colder. Ahem. Wang Chu coughed awkwardly. I wonder what Captain Xiao wants to talk to me about. He asked a question knowing the answer. Xiao Mengyin had no relationship with him, but she suddenly came to him at this time. Besides the school team, what else is there? Xiao Mengyin frowned slightly, as if she was still a little dissatisfied with Wang Chu's behavior just now. However, she still spoke. Wang Chu, the top scorer in the Dashan National Mechanical and Military Examination, and the God Slayer. Do you want to join the school team? If it's you, no assessment is required, I agree. She paused, then added, directly join the school team, not the reserve team. After she finished speaking, the students around her exclaimed, directly join the school team? Captain Xiao is crazy. Hasn't her standard always been very strict? Why did it suddenly become lower? That's right. A second-level pilot directly joins the school team. It's unheard of. It's okay. Joining the school team doesn't mean you have to play. Sitting on the bench is the same. There is a most critical point. I don't know if you have discovered it. Captain Xiao is asking for Wang Chu's opinion. Everyone took a breath of cold air. Yes, Captain Xiao, who always says what he means, is actually asking for Wang Chu's opinion. Wang Chu is also a little surprised. This Xiao Mengyin is unexpectedly easy to talk to. But why is this? Seek his potential for absolute overclocking. Reason. Give me a reason to join the school team. Wang Chu said lightly, although Wang Chu feels that he is awesome now. But the more times like this, the more we must guard against arrogance and impatience. What if there are people outside of us, and there are machines outside of us? After all, I am still a second-level pilot. Continuous development is my primary goal. Xiao Mingyin looked straight into Wang Chu's eyes and said in a voice that only the two of them could hear, "The whereabouts of the storm goddess. Are you interested?" Chapter 92. Where is the storm goddess? Wang Chu's pupils suddenly shrank. Of course I'm interested. And I'm very interested. After all, the reward of the Godslayer is too good for Wang Chu. Let's not talk about the title of Godslayer and other rewards. The Mark of the Abyss God, obtained by killing the Abyss God, is what I need most. That is a powerful item that can strengthen Saitama's physique. The growth rate of Saitama's physique was criticized before. Now, LV2, Saitama's physique, can provide all attributes plus 10 and 10 free attribute points after completing daily tasks. It's unimaginable to go up. There is another key point. I have the ability of fixing wind, which is a natural counter to the storm goddess. Dealing with the storm goddess is definitely much easier than dealing with other abyss gods. And that guy doesn't know yet, and is still making trouble on the way to the Imperial Capital Mechanical and Military High School. It's just, does Xiao Mingyin really have information about the goddess of storms? You know, the abyss spirits are beings that can freely travel in the abyss. Wang Chu narrowed his eyes and looked down at the lowly in front of him. Although she is less than 1.5 meters tall and has a flat chest. But if you look at her face alone, Xiao Mingyin is definitely the most exquisite girl Wang Chu has ever seen. Her skin is as white as snow and as delicate as mutton fat jade, with soft and smooth lines, and the flesh on her face is just right. Like a doll. I really want to pinch it. The idea just came to me. The next moment, in the horror and disbelief of a group of onlookers, Wang Chu's hand stretched out so lively, and his index finger and thumb pinched Xiao Mingyin's cheek. Well, it's really soft and comfortable to pinch. After saying that, Wang Chu pinched it twice more. The expressions of the students watching the scene had already become extremely distorted and weird, and a hissing sound came out of their throats. No, why are you still commenting? You are harassing. This is harassment. Fuck. Wang Chu is so hot. How dare he? How dare he? Woo, my goddess Xiao. Isn't it enough that Wang Chu already has 2 girls? They were considering whether to evacuate the scene quickly. If Xiao Mingyin ran away on the spot, it would probably be a river of blood. But if we leave now, won't we be able to eat melons? We Da Xiao people, the spirit of eating melons will live forever. What else did the melon-eating crowd say? Xiao Mingyin didn't listen at all. The clamor of the world is incompatible with Xiao Mingyin. If you want to talk about the most confused person, it's her. No, you, me. Xiao Mingyin's originally cold face was instantly stained with a blush, like a red plum blossom blooming in the ice and snow, delicate and moving. Seemingly shy, but only Wang Chu, who was close, could clearly feel it. This is like a volcano about to erupt. Sorry, I don't know why I didn't control my hand. Wang Chu immediately let go and slid to his knees. This is indeed what I did wrong. Why didn't I hold back? Wang Chu thought for 0.1 seconds. Is it because of this month? I have been teased too many times. Xiao Mingyin opened the small umbrella that was used as a crutch just now and covered her face. However, a light hum was still clearly heard by Wang Chu. If you agree, come to me at 6 o'clock tonight. After saying that, she turned around and left the scene quickly. It's just that because she is less than 1.5 meters tall, the stride is really limited and her legs are almost smoking. Wang Chu looked at Xiao Mingyin's back covered by a small umbrella with a complicated expression. No, let me find you at 6 o'clock. What about the address? Tell me. At this moment, no one cares whether Wang Chu will join the school team. The look they gave Wang Chu was full of pity. Brother, you are very strong? Then be prepared to accept Captain Zhao's anger. Vanla, all fucking Vanla. I think Wang Chu should not join the school team. If he joins the school team, he will probably be hung up and beaten by Captain Xiao. What's the point of skipping the reserve team and joining the school team? A real man should pinch Captain Zhao's face. You know, you can't touch the tiger's ass. Su Wanking sighed with resentment. Brother Wang Chu, it's only been a day. Wang Chu felt his underwear tighten again. Ziying looked at him with eyes wide open. Light up. So exciting. Here comes another one, and another one. Following Wang Chu, it feels like there is no shortage of melons to eat. She counted her fingers, including Xiao Mengyin. This is the fifth one, right? No. Why is it the fifth one? Wang Chu dare not speak. Fortunately, at this time, the teleportation entrance of the Endless Ruins dungeon in the distance lit up. It's open, let's go. Wang Chu, who only wanted to run quickly, didn't notice it. At this time in the crowd, there was a pair of eyes staring at him. Ding, you have entered Endless Ruins. Endless Ruins first level, past dreams, current location, blue star, level, second level. Difficulty, nightmare level. Mission, resist the first wave of all-out attack on the Zer planet and defeat at least 300 Zer mecha soldiers. Introduction. The flames of war raged on this land. Cities were reduced to ruins, and mountains and rivers were broken. The warriors of Blue Star were vulnerable to the powerful alien invaders, and countless lives disappeared in the smoke. You can't help but ask, is this a broken dream, or the real world? Is it really another battle? Wang Chu glanced around, and the past dreams. Enter this time was different from the first time he entered. The time and space return area where the Imperial Capital Mechanical and Military High School is located records the battles in Dacia when the Zell planet invaded Blue Star. There are dozens of big and small battles in total. However, Endless Return is indeed a bit difficult. After opening the Eye of the Abyss, Wang Chu glanced around the NPCs around him. It is about the same difficulty as when he first entered the dungeon. According to Ziying, every time you pass a layer of time and space return, the difficulty of the next layer will be doubled on the basis of the first layer. If the attribute standard of the first layer is 1, then the second level is 1.2, the third level is 1.4, and so on. Every time you go up 5 levels, the attributes of the copy NPC will double, and Xiao Mingyin's record is the 23rd level. The next moment, the flames began to flow on Wang Chu's body. Neza, the fiery red armor has been attached to Wang Chu. 23 levels, right? Then let me try. I can beat you a few 23 levels. Chapter 93, Master, everything is ready. In an office at the Imperial Capital Mechanical and Military College, the man was talking on the phone in a low voice, reporting the situation to the person on the other end of the phone. But Master, the other party is Wang Chu. Do you really want to do something to his endless return? It is said that he is a student personally invited by Principal Lynx. If Principal Lynx knows about it, as an executor, the man was still a little hesitant before he finally took action. A few days ago, he had called Li Junshan, the head of the Li family. The answer he got was, Xiaoshan can do whatever he wants. It's just a backdoor. It's no big deal. Like he said, it's just to teach someone a lesson. It won't cause any big trouble. Since the head of the family said so, he can only execute it. It was only today that he knew. The person Li Xiaoshan wanted to deal with was actually Wang Chu. Are you crazy? Let me do something to Wang Chu. Li Junshan sneered from the other end of the phone. Xiaoli, you misunderstood Xiaoshan's meaning. Geniuses will always face difficulties and bumps on their way to growth. Only by overcoming them can they become stronger. This is just a little fight between children. What can happen? Like he said, Endless Return is a copy that can be exited at any time. You can rest assured, if anything really happens, I will take care of it. Don't worry. You have to believe in Xiaoshan. Xiaoshan is the future head of our Li family. He knows what is important and what is not. Isn't this just brainless protection? Xiaoli complained in his heart. Sure enough, there's a reason why Li Xiaoshan is so arrogant and domineering. The upper beam is not straight, and the lower beam is crooked. Realizing that Li Junshan's tone was getting worse and worse, Xiaoli could only agree with a hum and a ah. After hanging up the phone, the recording was also interrupted. Master, you are really old and confused. Little Li stood there and talked to himself. That is the God Slayer who is now at the center of the storm, and everyone is paying attention to What he is bound to now is no longer something our Lee family can bear. But you actually indulge your grandson to attack him. In that case, then don't blame me for finding a way out for myself. Thinking for a moment, he opened the back door of Endless Return according to Lee Junshin's instructions. Then, he held the phone tightly and walked out of the door. Endless Return, 26th floor, past dreams, current location, blue star, level, second level, difficulty, nightmare level, mission, kill the commander of the Zell Legion or survive to the end. Introduction. The last general attack launched by the Zell Legion on Blue Star. The smoke filled the air. The flames of war were everywhere. The city was reduced to ruins under the baptism of artillery fire. The earth was stained with blood. The wails of the wounded and the roar of weapons were intertwined, playing a tragic song of tragedy. However, after the night, dawn is coming. Go warriors, you will witness this hard-won victory. Oh, I was randomly assigned to the last battle. Wang Chu raised his eyebrows. This last battle, past dreams, can be said to be the most difficult, or the easiest copy. The difficulty is that the pilots who enter the copy have to push all the way to kill the commander of the Zell Legion. The danger along the way is unimaginable. The overwhelming artillery fire, and the warriors who have long been fearless of death and sacrificed their lives for their planet. The simple point is, you can do nothing, just dodge the roaring artillery fire like a bullet screen game, and you can wait until the NPC flattens the Zell Legion. There was once a great god who followed the NPC to grab the head of the commander of the Zell Legion. It turned out that the reward for killing the commander and idling for time was the same. So, for many pilots, when they were randomly assigned to this battle, they just idled. In an instant, the sky was torn apart by dazzling flames, and shells streaked across the sky like angry meteors, whistling with long tails. The roar of various engines has been heard around, and soldiers are shuttling through endless artillery fire. If there are other people watching here, they will find it. At the forefront of the Blue Star Legion, a fiery red figure is charging unstoppably. Boom! The tip of the fire spear burst out, the flames shot up into the sky, burning all the approaching Zell Legion soldiers to ashes. Zell Legion Soldier Elite. Level 2, level 25, strength 15,000, agility 12,000, defense 13,200, skills, mechanical modification, advanced swordsmanship, advanced gunmanship, weakness, whole body, introduction, elite warrior of the Zell Legion. In the 26th floor of Endless Ruins, the attribute standard of the copy NPC has reached the terrifying level 6.0. If only soldiers with this attribute are picked out, a small number of second-level pilots can still defeat them. But in the 26th floor of Endless Ruins, this NPC is only the weakest one, and there are tens of thousands of them. There's constant artillery fire hitting the fuselage of Neza. The durability is rapidly decreasing. Wang Chu seemed to be unconcerned and continued to charge. In the past, even if I encountered such a situation, I would have to rely on armor explosion to get through. Under the face armor, Wang Chu grinned. After all, the mecha has a durability limit, not to mention the core chip module, absolute overclocking, that is not suitable for protracted battles and team battles. But I have Dragonheart. Under the powerful recovery effect of Dragonheart, I can recover 1% of durability every second. Even if Wanking is not around, as long as I leave the battlefield in time to recover, I could be like a perpetual motion machine. Now, Wang Chu's absolute overclocking has basically completed the closed loop. There are powerful attribute bonuses, powerful recovery effects, and even more powerful Myolock. I call it invincible. Neza, the fiery red figure, is like a meat grinder, pushing across the battlefield. Target, commander of the Zell Legion. Let me end this war in the remnant of the past with my own hands. Chapter 94. Wang Chu was covered with the Neza mecha, and he was like a red lightning, speeding across the interstellar battlefield. His fire spear danced into a fire wheel, and wherever he went, the soldiers of the Zell Legion fell one after another. and their limbs and mecha fragments flew everywhere. Every swing of the spear tip was accompanied by the roar of flames and the explosion of energy. Those elite soldiers were like fragile ants in front of him. Not only elite soldiers, warships were lying in front of him. On the huge warship at the farthest distance, a pair of eyes were already staring at the red figure on the battlefield. Stop him! Yes! Countless gun barrels flashed with deadly cold light, aimed at Wang Chu at the same time. Boom! The sky was lit up in an instant with all kinds of artillery fire. The next second, the red figure did not dodge or avoid and rushed straight up along the dense artillery net. Whoosh! In the shocked eyes of all the soldiers and officers of the Zell Legion, the red figure rushed out of the artillery fire net and hung in the sky. Then he moved. The huge fire spear in his hand kept rotating in the air. Boom! The scorching flames were burning. The huge fire wheel reflected the sky red. Then, one after another, the warships exploded. The degree of splendor. It was like a fireworks show with crazy expenses. Awesome. Wang Chu laughed loudly. This feeling of mowing the grass with a whoosh wang is so awesome. But this battle is far more than that. Boom! A series of huge roars sounded. Wang Chu squinted his eyes and looked at the huge figure approaching in the distance. It was a series of large mechas, Black Knight Squadron of the Zell Legion, Harvest Type A Leader, Level 2, Level 28, Strength, 24,000, Agility, 24,000, Defense, 21,000, Weapon System, Laser Sword Standard Type A, Floating Gun Standard Type B, Gatling Gun Standard Type A, Defense System, Nanotech Coating, Energy Light Shield Standard Type A, Regional Energy Shield, Weakness, Mecha Core, Introduction, member of the famous Black Knight Squadron of the Zell Legion. Sure enough, large mechas, what is coming is still coming. If it is put in a real battle, these large mechas represent pilots above level 5 one after another. And what Wang Chu is staring at this time is the large mecha at the front. Zellcore Black Knight Squadron Destruction, Lord, Level, Tier 2, Level 30, Strength, 36,000, Agility, 33,000, Defense, 39,000, Weapon System, Beam Saber Standard B Type, Floating Gun Standard B Type, High Energy Laser Cannon Standard A Type, Plasma Beam Cannon Standard A Type, Defense System, Nano Composite Defense System, Energy Light Shield Standard C Type, Regional Energy Shield. Weakness, Mecha Core. Introduction. The famous captain of the Black Knight Squadron of the Zell Corps, codename Destruction. The several meter-long black beam, saber, chopped down instantly. Clang! Wang Chu then wielded the fire spear to block, and the sound of metal collision was crisp and piercing. This time, it directly made him lose 2% of his durability under the attribute bonus of 6.0 on the 26th floor, Endless Ruins. The leading large mecha has reached a terrifying 36,000 points of strength. 36,000 points of strength. It can barely break through my defense. Wang Chu grinned. In the history books, the Black Knight Squad is one of the ace squads in the Zell Legion. They have killed many powerful pilots on Blue Star. Fortunately, this is the second-level copy of Endless Ruins, and their attributes have been weakened. However, large mechas are large mechas. They are always stronger than exoskeleton mechas. Just send a whole Black Knight Squad to deal with me. Should I say you think highly of me? Or, boom, in an instant, Neza was ignited with a raging fire. The flames at the tip of the fire spear rose dozens of meters high. A shot swept out. At this moment, the sky seemed to be split in two. The Black Knight Squadron of the Zell Legion Destruction at the front was instantly annihilated in the flames. Or underestimate me, Wang Chu sneered. Outside Endless Ruins, in a corner, Li Xiaoshan hung up the phone and looked at Guang in front of him and said softly, Wang Chu has been in for more than 10 minutes. Brother Guang, I'm sorry for asking you, a rank 6 pilot, to deal with a rank 2 pilot. But don't worry, if you are held accountable for teaching Wang Chu a lesson, even if the sky falls, our Li family will support you. He stretched out his hand and held He Guang's strong palm tightly. He Guang looked at Li Shaoshan's eyes and got goosebumps all over his body. However, he still grinned and showed a confident and sunny smile. For the sake of absolute overclocking, he had already prepared to be a duck. Junior brother Li, you are too serious. This is mainly for your business. If it were someone else, I would definitely not help you with this favor. Li Shaoshan was moved. So, I'm also a special existence in Brother Guang's mind. Brother Guang, he murmured tenderly. He Guang shuddered all over and quickly pulled back the hand that was tightly held by Li Shaoshan and secretly said in his heart, "What a fool." Sure enough, as long as Li Shaoshan's jealousy of Wang Chu is slightly provoked, he can smoothly rely on the resources of the Li family to attack Wang Chu. Wait for him to devour Wang Chu's absolute core and then devour Li Shaoshan to fill his teeth. And he dares to say that all this is done perfectly and will not be discovered by others. Let's go and make a quick decision. Okay. Li Shaoshan nodded excitedly. When he thought about being able to teach Wang Chu a lesson later and looking down at him with a desperate expression, he was a little excited. Then he thought about taking He Guang to spend a wonderful world of two people at night after all these things were done. And he was even more excited. As for Wang Chu meeting them and exiting the dungeon directly, that would be even better. It was exactly what he wanted. After all, Wang Chu had only been in Endless Guishu for more than 10 minutes. No matter how fast it is, how fast can it go? Third floor? Fourth floor? If Wang Chu chooses to exit the dungeon directly, he will be discovered by other students. The famous God Slayer, Wang Chu. In the first challenge of Endless Return, he only lasted more than 10 minutes. In this case, how can he have the face to directly enter the school team reserve? The position of the school team reserve is mine. After checking the coordinate point connected to the light gate, He Guang turned around and said lightly, "Junior brother Li, the coordinate node has been confirmed. You can set off." Okay. Li Shaoshan smiled crookedly and stepped into the light gate first. The next second, the picture flows. The roar of artillery fire exploded instantly, scaring Li Shaoshan. He Guang also walked in. Looking at the overwhelming artillery fire, he said lightly, "This Wang Chu is unlucky. He encountered the last battle copy of Past Dreams as soon as he came in." Oh, Li Shaoshan raised his eyebrows. In that case, he is probably still hiding in some corner waiting for the Blue Star Army to win, right? Then he will go out at the first level of Endless Ruins. Haha. If the God Slayer can't even pass the first level of Endless Ruins when challenging Endless Ruins for the first time, he will become a laughing stock of everyone. Li Shaoshan was laughing foolishly over there. Only He Guang frowned, as if he had discovered something unusual. No, not the first level. What's not the first level? Li Shaoshan hasn't laughed enough yet. He Guang narrowed his eyes, looked at the NPCs in the copy in front of him, and said in a deep voice, "Dear, there are at least more than 20 levels." What? Li Shaoshan was stunned for half a second and blurted out, "Say it again, Duo Shao." Chapter 95, more than 20 floors of Endless Ruins? Are you kidding me? Li Shaoshan opened his mouth wide, speechless in shock. More than 20 floors. It's not that there are no pilots who can reach it. Just talking about Xiao Mengyin's record, it's the 23rd floor. Further down, there are still many pilots hovering around the 20th and 21st floors. But the key to the problem is the opening time of the Endless Ruins dungeon is only a short 10 minutes. 10 minutes to reach more than 20 floors. How is this possible? After a long silence, Li Shaoshan stammered. He Guang said seriously on the side, "I forgot what the attribute base points of the dungeon NPC in the second level Endless Ruins are, but just looking at the current attributes of these NPCs, they are at least above the 5.0 coefficient. Brother Guang, let's go." At this moment, Li Shaoshan was a little scared. He could also see the attributes of these dungeon NPCs. All of them have already beaten him completely. I'm afraid that if he is touched casually, he will die on the spot. He Guang shook his head. "Did you forget? We entered Wang Chu's coordinate point. Unless Wang Chu exits Endless Return, and closes the copy. We can't get out. Then this. Don't worry, I'm here, Guang said lightly. What if Endless Return has a coefficient of more than 5.0? He is a 6th level pilot. Titan, activate. Boom. Instantly. A large mecha, more than 20 meters high, appeared in the original place instantly. The main body of the Titan is dark gray, and the shell is made of high-strength alloy, like a majestic steel beast. On the chest of the mecha, 6 purple 5-pointed stars are engraved. Then, he leaned over and stretched out a huge mechanical palm, holding Li Shaoshan, who activated the exoskeleton mecha in his palm. Boom! The huge fire wheel instantly destroyed the last dozen large mechas of the Zell Legion. Finally, it reached the commander. Wang Chu breathed a sigh of relief. It must be said that this last battle was too cruel, even if he drove the Invincible all the way. It took several minutes. He was exhausted. Okay, get ready to enter the 27th floor. Just then, a roar of the engine sounded. Wang Chu turned around and squinted his eyes at the black dot approaching in the distance. Is there another expert? The black dot is very fast. In less than a few breaths, a large dark gray mecha came into view. It's not the mecha of the Zell Legion. This style is more like the mecha of the Blue Star Legion. Could it be that the NPC has caught up? It's normal for the NPC to catch up. After all, most of the enemies in front have been cleared by him alone. No, not an NPC. Just as he was about to turn around and deal with the commander of the Zell Legion, Wang Chu had already seen the attributes of the dark gray large mecha through the eye of the abyss. Guang, Titan, level, 6th level, 6th level, 61, strength, 179,500, agility, 113,600, defense, 262,000, weapon system, pulsar laser array system, Dawnbreaker, high-energy particle beam main gun, Shadow Blade, ion sword array, defense system, Titan shield, heavy energy shield, quantum barrier composite armor. Weakness, mecha core, 6th level mecha. Guang, how'd he get in? The question just flashed through his mind. Wang Chu stopped struggling. What's the point of struggling? Although I don't understand how the other party appeared here. But it was obvious that it was coming from me. Whoosh. The huge body of the Titan passed through the sunset-colored sky. It stopped steadily in front of Wang Chu. Compared with the more than 20-meter-tall Titan, the more than 2-meter-tall Neza couldn't be any smaller. The Titan lowered its head and looked at the tiny, fiery red figure, although it didn't match the silver-white armor in the intelligence. But Guang was sure when he saw the more than 20-story endless ruins. This is the power of absolute overclocking. Only absolute overclocking can achieve such a shocking result. He looked at the fiery red figure in front of him, his eyes full of greed. And now, absolute overclocking is already at your fingertips. Guang's voice came from the Titan, and he asked in a deep voice, "Why don't you run?" Fire the red figure slowly rose until it was at the same level as the head of the Titan. Wang Chu chuckled. Why run? The atmosphere in the air suddenly dropped to freezing point. Li Shaoshan was stunned. He thought of many scenes of Wang Chu facing Guang Titan, either asking why, or kneeling down and begging for mercy, or directly pressing the exit key to exit Endless Return. Among dozens of scenes, but he never thought of, why run? How dare you say such a thing? Li Shaoshan stood up from the palm of the Titan. He shouted loudly, Wang Chu, you just need to kneel down in front of everyone and bow to me. Give up your position in the school team, reserve team. This matter, let it go. Forget it. Li Shaoshan was stunned for a moment. These two words were not said by Wang Chu. The next second, Li Shaoshan found that it was dark. Titan's huge palm closed in an instant. Ah! A painful scream squeezed out of Li Shaoshan's throat. Then, the crackling sound of the mecha breaking continued to come from his clenched palms. Then, the bright red blood slowly flowed down through the fingers. Disgusting stuff, Guang said with disgust, casually throwing away the meat paste in his hand. Wang Chu narrowed his eyes and looked at the sudden change in front of him. At this time, a very small stream flowed along the arm of the Titan and poured into the five-pointed star on his chest. He Guang chuckled, looking at the bluffing Wang Chu with great joy. Now, you can't run away even if you want to. I'm going to start. Chapter 96 Click. Around the Titan's shoulder armor, the laser array system started up, and rows of dark and deep muzzles slowly revealed themselves. The cold metallic luster flashed with a sharp cold light in the dim light, like a vicious beast that chose people to devour in the dark night, revealing its ferocious fangs. In a flash, dozens of dazzling laser beams rushed out like a surging tide. They intertwined and entangled with each other, weaving into an airtight laser cannon network, roaring towards Wang Chu with overwhelming force. The sky-high laser cannon fire seemed to cut the space into pieces. The air within a range of hundreds of meters was distorted by the violent energy, and the suffocating sense of oppression enveloped the battlefield like a substance, as if it was the prelude to the end of the world, making people breathless. Buzz! The engine of the Mecha instantly burst into a deafening roar, and the power was pulled to the limit in an instant. The blazing tail flames shot up into the sky like a gorgeous pillar of fire, illuminating the surrounding ground red. Wang Chu's face was grim, and he did not hesitate to go full throttle. With a powerful, time-delaying ability of Eye of the Abyss, his figure turned into a streaking red lightning, leaving a trail of afterimages in the air. Every dodge was extremely accurate, and it was only a millimeter away from the overwhelming laser artillery fire. Jumping back and forth on the edge of death, Wang Chu narrowed his eyes and was ready. He had to take it seriously. After all, this was his first time facing a 6th-level enemy. Guang, what did you do to Li Shaoshan just now? Taking advantage of the gap between the laser artillery fire, Wang Chu asked coldly. In fact, Wang Chu had already guessed about the flash of white light just now, because just as the white light poured into He Guang's body, He Guang's attributes increased a little bit. He Guang, Titan, level, 6th level, 6th level 61, strength, 185,500, agility, 119,600, defense, 273,000. Compared to 2 minutes ago, his 3 measurements have more or less increased by thousands or more than 10,000 points. And the only one who could do this is the Devourer. Haven't you noticed it, Wang Chu? He Guang's sneer echoed on the battlefield through the Titan's loudspeaker. He tootayed twice, with a bit of disdain and ridicule in his tone. Li Shaoshan, this idiot, still wants to join the school team? With what he has, it's not even enough to fill my teeth. After that, He Guang's face in the cockpit showed a bloodthirsty and ferocious expression. He looked at the red figure flying in the air, and the excitement in his eyes became stronger. Too strong. Absolute overclocking is really too strong. Only the 2nd level can have such attributes. It is worthy of being a power coveted by the gods of the abyss. I really don't know how much improvement I can get after swallowing absolute overclocking. He Guang thought to himself. Greed surged wildly in his body. Then, he controlled the huge mecha of the Titan, which was as high as a hill, and rushed towards Neza. A quick battle must be decided. The principle of delay leads to change is the principle that He Guang relies on for survival. As a devourer, he can survive to this day and lurk in the Imperial Capital Mechanical and Military High School for so many years, relying on one word: steady. He will not take action without assurance. If he takes action, then you must quickly and accurately give the opponent a fatal blow, leaving no chance for the opponent to breathe. Wang Chu narrowed his eyes and looked at the charging Titan and began to calculate in his mind. The passive enemy breaking of Spider Costume has already refreshed 6,000 monsters. Now, my strength points have reached 168,000 points. However, compared with the 273,000 points of defense of the Titan, it can't break the defense at all. The natural gap between the levels is really too big. From the fact that He Guang can enter the Imperial Capital Mechanical and Military High School team, it can be seen that his strength is definitely not weak among the 6th level. However, compared with the defense of more than 200,000, the strength and agility are relatively ordinary. In the game, he should play more of a meat shield role. Wang Chu looked at the Titan as high as a hill, and a smile appeared on the corner of his mouth. Turtle shell, right? Then let's see how hard your turtle shell is. Boom! The flames from the tip of the fire spear shot up into the sky, more terrifying than ever before. With the momentum to annihilate everything, Wang Chu went upstream, shuttling between the laser cannon fire. Instantly, he rushed towards Guang. Oh, is this your counterattack before you die? Guang's laughter came from the mecha. Instantly, the Titan was surrounded by a bright light. The Titan shield, heavy energy shield, was activated. Layers of yellow matrix shields appeared in front of the Titan. Whoosh! The picture flowed, and a black and gold spear wrapped in layers of blazing flames came like a meteor chasing the moon, with an indomitable and resolute momentum, piercing directly on the seemingly indestructible matrix shield. Fida. However, the matrix shield did not move at all. As stable as Mount Tai, it seemed that the terrifying attack that was enough to burn everything was just an ant trying to shake a tree, and it could not shake it at all. The Titan lowered its head, looked at the struggling red figure, and grinned. Did you see it? This is the insurmountable gap between you and me. Then he said, the Titan's huge mechanical arm was raised high, holding a blue glowing ion sword in its hand. Like a lightning bolt that cut through the sky, it slashed down suddenly. Boom! One slash. It was as if the sky was collapsing and the earth was splitting, and the surging airwaves rushed towards him like an avalanche. Under the huge attribute gap, with just one blow, the red mecha of Neza was directly shattered by the tyrannical force. It turned into countless fragments with sparks and shot out in all directions. It's done. Guang's eyes flashed. At this moment, those fragments were like sparks all over the sky, emitting the last residual heat. Looking at Wang Chu, whose armor had exploded and his figure was revealed, Guang couldn't hide his excitement and began to tremble all over. I didn't expect it. I didn't expect that the coveted absolute overclocking would be obtained so smoothly. Absolute overclocking has a powerful effect of plus 1,000% of all attributes, even if only 10% of the effect is obtained by swallowing absolute overclocking. All attributes can be increased by 100%. Thinking of this, he became more and more excited. Wang Chu, it's over. As soon as the voice fell, just as he was about to enjoy the last absolute overclocking, Guang suddenly froze in place. A strong sense of uneasiness surged in his heart. Something's wrong. Very wrong. He was shocked to find that the pieces of burning mecha fragments that were originally extinguished around him. At this moment, not only did it not die down, but it seemed to be injected with infinite vitality. The flames burned more and more vigorously, and the light became more and more dazzling. What's going on? Is it the chip's hidden ability? But isn't his hidden ability the wind control? Guang's thoughts suddenly became a little flustered. The change in the situation has already exceeded his imagination and control. The next second, the countless fiery red fragments seemed to be summoned by some mysterious power, and suddenly turned back. Like a tired bird returning to its nest, they quickly gathered in the direction of Wang Chu. Puff! Sizzle! The flames wrapped around Wang Chu's figure and continued to burn, continuously rising up. Guang's pupils shrank, and the shoulder armor on both shoulders suddenly opened. It was two Dawnbreaker high-energy particle beam main guns. Swoosh! A sharp whistle came from the air, and the Titan began to frantically gather manic particle energy. The energy gathered into a dazzling spot of light in the air, ready to go. The next second, boom! A loud noise that resounded through the heavens, and Earth enveloped the world. Two extremely thick high-energy particle beams gushed out from the main gun, like angry dragons out of the sea, carrying the momentum of destroying the world, and instantly submerged the figure wrapped in flames. After a few breaths, the light of the particle beam gradually dissipated. a fiery red figure, appeared at Wang Chu's original position. Congratulations, Challenger. Now is the second stage. Chapter 97 Ding. The Nirvana rebirth effect has been triggered. Mecha has doubled all attributes. Duration 30 minutes. The spiritual pattern on the back of the left hand exudes a scorching temperature. At this time, the various attributes of Mecha have undergone earth-shaking changes. Strength 336,000. Agility 98,400. Defense 66,600 under the Nirvana rebirth doubling effect. S strength attribute has climbed to a terrifying 336,000 points. It can completely penetrate the Titan's defense. Do you think this is the end? Wang Chu narrowed his eyes like a torch, and locked tightly on the Titan in front of him, which was already in shock and doubting his life. No, this is far from enough. My second stage is far more than that. Destruction mode, start. Ding. Enter destruction mode. The mecha durability consumes 80% of the current, all attributes increase by 1,000%, and the duration is 20 seconds. In an instant, a force of destruction surged inside the Mecha. The violent energy fluctuations were like a supernova about to explode, causing the surrounding space to twist and tremble. It's a pity that the 1,000% increase in all attributes of destruction mode is included in Wang Chu's total attribute bonus. At this time, Wang Chu's total attribute bonus has reached a staggering 3,000%, accompanied by a series of creepy click sounds. The Mecha, which had just experienced nirvana and rebirth, was instantly invaded by violent power again. On its fuselage, spiderweb-like cracks spread rapidly. Did you hear it? Wang Chu asked Guang calmly. This is the roar of the Mecha. How is it? Is it particularly pleasant? Strength 48,000. Agility 129,600. Defense 84,600. The manic power is like a flood that bursts the dam, gushing out from Nez's body. Guang no longer has the arrogant look he had just now. He felt such a terrifying breath from Wang Chu. Wang Chu's voice was like a countdown for his life. Hee, do you think this is over? Wang Chu's mouth corners slightly raised, and he let out a mean laugh. Then, he gently uttered a few words. Dharma mode, start. Boom. A loud noise that shook the earth, like the first roar of the beginning of the world. Endless flames rose from Wang Chu's body like a volcanic eruption. The surrounding air was instantly burned and distorted, turning into an illusory light and shadow. In the blur, Guang widened his eyes in disbelief. Behind the Mecha, limbs and arms actually grew. Then, a round of madly burning yellow Qiankin circle, like a dazzling sun, rose slowly from behind the Mecha, 1 head and 6 arms. Dharma mode. Strength 72,000. Agility 194,400. Defense 169,200. The sky and the earth were already illuminated by the blazing flames. Wang Chu held the fire spear, with the tip of the spear pointed obliquely, towering over the Titan. The Mecha lowered its eyebrows. The indifference and majesty revealed in those gem-like eyes. It was like looking down at an ant about to step into the abyss of death, full of endless contempt. You are honored to see my complete second stage. Wang Chu's voice was clearly audible in the sound of the rising flames, with a hint of sarcasm and pity in the voice. It's a pity. This will be the last time you see it. After that, the Mecha swooped down toward the Titan like a red lightning. On the tip of the fire spear, the flames burned wildly and gathered into a point. The light was like a bright star cutting through the sky. Let you keep banging at me. Completely different from the previous shot. This shot gathered all the power of the Mecha under the triple blessing of Nirvana rebirth, destruction mode, and Dharma mode. The heavy energy shield of the Titan shield that was just so arrogant, just a face-to-face encounter. It collapsed. Everything happened too suddenly. He Guang still stared at the incredible scene in front of him with his eyes wide open. How? How is this possible? With such a powerful force, aren't you a second level one? How can you? Maybe it's not the second level. The words haven't been finished yet. The layers of shields on the Titan were shattered like dominoes. Wang Chu didn't stop. He swung the fire spear, and the spear body was like a nimble dragon, drawing a flexible arc in the air. Boom! This blow directly stabbed into the core of the Titan. The next moment, the surging flame energy suddenly erupted in the core of the Titan, like a blazing sun exploding in its body. In an instant, a dazzling light lit up at the core, tearing the surrounding metal structure with overwhelming force. Starting from the core, the metal frame was like an ignited gunpowder fuse, quickly spreading fine cracks, and dazzling flames and high-temperature airflows were ejected from the cracks, making a sharp whistling sound. The Titan is over. Looking at the Titan that had crashed to the ground, Wang Chu's voice came from under the face armor of Neza. Why don't you run? Are you not afraid? Chapter 98, same question. In just 1 minute, he turned the tables. He Guang lay in the messy ruins of the Titan in a mess, blood gushing out of his mouth and nose, his eyes full of endless horror. The powerful force displayed by Wang Chu has far exceeded the limit of his past cognition. His heart is like a raging sea. How could this be possible? The mecha on his body is clearly engraved with 2 golden 5-pointed stars, indicating his second-level identity. But the power he burst out is far beyond the 6th-level pilot. Wait, burst? Suddenly, as if a ray of light penetrated his mind, He Guang's breathing became rapid in an instant. I know everything. He remembered Wang Chu's rising power just now, and suddenly realized it. Why didn't Wang Chu take advantage of the victory to kill him directly, but wanted to use his mouth to cannon? That's because he's at the end of his rope. Although my Titan has exploded, it can't be reactivated in a short time. He Guang secretly calculated in his heart. But Wang Chu, as a second-level pilot, can't always maintain such terrifying strength. To sum up, Wang Chu is bluffing. The advantage is mine. I will definitely win. The thought changed. He Guang has activated the Exoskeleton mecha. With a carp jump, his legs were tight and slightly bent. Boom! The green figure shot up into the sky like an arrow from a bow, rushing straight towards Wang Chu. In just 2 breaths, he came to Wang Chu unimpeded. He Guang's face showed an expression of as expected. Wang Chu, I won. He Guang could no longer suppress his excitement and roared, his voice full of excitement and ecstasy. The next second, a shocking big slap with 720,000 points of power slapped He Guang's face without any warning. The green exoskeleton armor exploded directly in the air. He Guang's figure turned 360 degrees north and hit the ground. Puff! He Guang spit out a mouthful of blood, and all the bones in his body broke under this terrifying impact. Like a puddle of mud, he lay in the ruins of the Titan, looking up at the fiery red figure standing in the air, like a god descending. Why should I be afraid? At this moment, He Guang thought of Wang Chu's calm answer just now. Yes, with such terrifying strength, what is he afraid of? So, the clown is actually me. Wang Chu stood in the air with his eyebrows lowered, overlooking He Guang, who was lingering on the ground, with a determined, killing intent in his eyes. He raised his arms slightly, and the veins on his hand holding the fire spear bulged. Elf Holy Sword. The fire spear, transformed by Urza, seemed to feel Wang Chu's anger. The flames on the gun body suddenly surged several times, and the raging flames roared and wrapped around it. And the light was so dazzling that it was almost impossible to look directly at it. With a low shout from Wang Chu, the fire spear in his hand exploded in the air. A burning meteor streaked through the sky, leaving an extremely dazzling red track in the air wherever it passed. The air was burned by the high temperature and made a sizzling sound, as if the space was about to be torn apart by this blazing power. Boom! The ground began to shake. It was not until more than 10 seconds later that it gradually stopped. The place where He Guang and the Titan were just now was burned out by the flames, leaving only a scorched ruin. The commander of the Zell Corps was stunned from a distance. No? Are you Blue Star people so fierce? If there are such fierce people, come out earlier. If you come out earlier, our Zell Corps will have run away long ago. The battle was fleeting. It took only a few minutes from He Guang's appearance to his death. Wang Chu took a breath and calmed down some of the disordered breath. The 20-second countdown of destruction mode has ended, and the 3 measurements have decreased to a certain extent. If possible, Wang Chu wants to keep He Guang alive. As a devourer, he still has many secrets waiting to be excavated. At least, Wang Chu wants to know whether He Guang knows the whereabouts of the director of the orphanage. But, after all, as a 6th-level pilot, it is not known whether there is any backup. To solve the problem, at this moment, Wang Chu sensed the roar of an engine. Following the sound, a black dot gradually approached the other side of the fiery red sky. There are still experts? The picture flows. A large mecha covered with pink armor is heading towards where Wang Chu is, approaching rapidly. Wang Chu, are you okay? The narrative no. One landed on the ground with a loud bang. Wang Chu under the face armor rolled his eyes at him. Principal Lin, don't you think you asked a nonsense question? Link scratched his head. The traces of battle here told him that a big battle had just taken place. It's just that there is nothing left on this land and nothing can be seen. He felt like the uncle in the hat in the movie and TV series, who always appears after the matter is over. I just received a report from an employee that the kid from the Leaf family wanted to attack you in the copy, so I rushed here without stopping. Lynx explained a little embarrassedly. What exactly happened? Wang Chu shook his head. No time to explain. As he spoke, he stretched out his left hand and reached behind him, holding the yellow Kiankan circle that was as bright as the sun in his hand. The next second, without even turning his head, he swung his arm. The yellow circle of heaven and earth flew out of his hand like a golden lightning, spinning rapidly in the air, under the astonished gaze of Lynx. Hundreds of meters away, with a flash of dazzling light and a dull explosion, the miserable cry of the commander of the Zell Legion was heard. No time to explain. Get in the car. Lynx. Elegant. Really elegant. After clicking to exit the dungeon, Endless Ruins entered the settlement stage. Ding! The Endless Ruins dungeon has been completed. Number of completed levels, 26th level. Number of times you have cleared past dreams, 13. Experience plus 65,000. Number of times you have cleared Miracle Star Source, 7. Module obtained. Number of times you have cleared Abyss of Creation, 6. Materials obtained. The spirit pattern was slightly heated, and the rewards of Endless Ruins had all poured into the spirit pattern. However, Wang Chu didn't have time to see what had exploded. At this time, there were more important things to do. Link's surprised voice came from the narrative number. He Guang is actually a devourer? He had just received the video sent by Wang Chu. The video clearly recorded the scene after He Guang and Li Xiaoshan appeared, and the scene of He Guang devouring Li Xiaoshan. Wang Chu did not send the later scenes to Lynx. Neza, there are 2 stages of things which need to be kept secret for the time being. After watching the video, Link's face was full of seriousness. Anything involving the devourer is the top priority, not to mention that He Guang has been hiding until now and has successfully grown into a 6th-level pilot. I don't know how many pilots' lives have been devoured along the way. After a long pause, Lynx asked, "What are you thinking now?" Wang Chu sneered and squinted his eyes and looked into the void. What to do? Of course, I went to confiscate the house. Chapter 99. Hey, what level can Wang Chu reach in his first challenge of Endless Ruins? I think he should be able to break the record of 23 levels held by Captain Xiao. You are so optimistic about him. Nonsense, Wang. Chu won the first place in the 0, 1st, and 2nd levels of the Abyss trial in a row, breaking Captain Zhao's record. Isn't that a piece of cake? Outside the dungeon teleportation entrance, a group of people were discussing with great interest. Suddenly, the dungeon entrance flashed. A fiery red figure seemed to slowly emerge from the void and appeared above the entrance. Everyone looked up at the sky and exclaimed, "Fuck, so cool. Whose mech is this?" I don't know. I've never seen it before. Wait, is that the narrative? Some sharp-eyed students found that in the sky above, a mecha was standing in the air. Then, the fiery red exoskeleton mecha and the narrative number flew in the same direction. Everyone was shocked. Principal Link's narrative number suddenly appeared here. This means something big is going to happen. At this moment, a student suddenly shouted, "Fuck, look at the ranking list of Endless Return." Everyone heard it and gathered around. At this time, they found out the latest changes have taken place in the ranking list of Endless Return. The words on the light screen read, "First place, Wang Chu, 26th floor, time 21 minutes and 38 seconds. In less than 22 minutes, it has broken through to the 26th floor." As soon as this news came out, the school was instantly sensational. Shangjing, Leaf Family Courtyard. A white-haired old man was sitting quietly by the pond, holding a slender green bamboo pole in his hand, and the buoy was shaking gently on the surface of the pond. Li Junshan narrowed his eyes and leaned back on the wooden rocking chair and rocked gently. Today's wind is really noisy. A gust of wind blew, and the surface of the pond began to rock. The fish that was about to bite the hook began to swim in panic. Li Junshan sighed with regret, slapped his thigh angrily, and lost the mood to fish. Well, calculating the time, Shaner should have finished his business in endless ruins. Regarding Li Xiaoshan's desire to teach Wang Chu a lesson, Li Junshan didn't care. What's the big deal? As one of the aristocratic families in Shangjing, although it has declined in recent decades due to the death of the previous head of the family. However, if there is not even this privilege, is it worthy of the title of an aristocratic family? You know, Wang Chu is just a talented pilot. Whether he can grow up is another matter, and their Li family now has a total of 5 7th-level pilots. They have a place in the Alliance Army. Do you know the value of a family? Thinking of his grandson's admiring eyes, Li Junshan was very proud. Just at this moment, in the distant sky, there was a sudden roar of mechas, and, getting louder and louder, Li Junshan was stunned. What happened? He murmured in a low voice, and the nerves in his temples began to throb. Ding, 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 ding. A harsh cell phone ring suddenly rang. Li Junshan immediately picked up the phone, and the moment he saw the phone number, an ominous premonition enveloped his heart like a haze. "Hello, what's the matter?" "Dad, run." Beep, beep. The other end of the phone didn't even have time to say anything more. After just 4 words, he hung up the call. Run? Li Junshan thought about it carefully, and his heart was shocked. He raised his head and looked in the direction of the sound. Under the blue sky in the distance, a dense black spot swept towards the Leaf family like a surging tide. "It's over. Is it coming for me?" Boom! The fleet of ships of the Imperial Capital Mechanical and Military College roared over Shangjing. None of the Beijing men in Shangjing expected it. The wind is blowing. The weather is going to change. The narrative landed in the Li family compound. Behind him, one mecha after another landed, and the heavy body crushed the Li family's houses like fragile building blocks, raising dust all over the sky. In front of the main hall of the Li family compound, Li Junshan stood with his hands behind his back, staring at the narrative in the front with angry red eyes, and questioned in a deep voice. "Lynx, what are you doing?" Behind him, all the people from the Li family had gathered. They looked pale, not knowing what had happened. Dozens of large mechas, they landed in front of their yard so easily. This oppressive feeling would make anyone pee their pants. The cold voice of Lynx came from the narrative. "Li Junshan, do you know what your grandson has done in school?" Li Junshan narrowed his eyes. His brain was working frantically. Sure enough, they came to the door because of Wang Chu's matter. But why did Lynx lead the team of the Imperial Capital Mechanical Weapon University to go out? In the sky, there were several ships of the Imperial Capital Mechanical Weapon University across the sky, with cold light flashing from the muzzles. Could it be that Shaner accidentally killed Wang Chu? After his thoughts collided wildly, Li Junshan felt that this was the only possibility, and he decided to play dumb first. "Lynx, I don't know what you were talking about. But you, Lynx, do you know what you're doing now?" You are trampling on the dignity of my Leaf family. The anger of our Leaf family is not something that anyone can bear, Li Junshan said confidently, and secretly breathed a sigh of relief in his heart. If Wang Chu died, that would be easy. Lynx is just here to vent, and there will be no bigger moves. In his opinion, compared with the worthless dead people, their Leaf family is more important. At this moment, a sharp whistle suddenly came from the sky. Everyone subconsciously looked up and saw a dazzling fire like a burning meteor cutting through the sky and crashing toward the main hall of the Leaf family. Boom! A loud noise seemed to collapse the sky and crack the earth. The main hall of the Leaf family collapsed instantly under the horrible impact. Bricks and stones flew, wood chips flew, and the dust covered the sky. Ahem! A fiery red figure slowly emerged in the diffuse smoke. Neza stood in the air, under the face armor. Wang Chu's eyes were as cold as frost. The fire spear in his hand emitted a blazing flame, and the temperature around him instantly soared. Hello. Excuse me, is this the Leaf family? I'm here to confiscate the family. Chapter 100 Click. A crisp metallic sound resounded throughout the Leaf family compound, and the long-range weapon systems of dozens of large mechas were uniformly turned on at the same time. In an instant, the tense and murderous atmosphere spread rapidly like a surging tide, shrouding the entire Leaf family compound in a shadow. The Leaf family members looked solemn and swallowed their saliva with difficulty. The sound of their Adam's apples rolling was particularly clear in the silent atmosphere. Hello, you are quite polite, but can you not use such a polite tone and say such fierce words? After a few breaths, some of the Leaf family members began to be unable to stand, and they shouted, Why? You said to confiscate the family, so you confiscate the family? Our Leaf family is a descendant of a famous family, one of the Shanjing families, in a place where you, a second-level pilot, can speak freely. Li Junshan stood at the front with a frown on his face, silent. His eyes were fixed on the fiery red mecha, with two golden, five-pointed stars. Then, the person in front of him is most likely Wang Chu. But if Wang Chu appears here, where's my Shaner? He suddenly looked at the narrative number and asked loudly, Lynx, where's Li Shaoshan? The only response to him was a suffocating silence. Seeing this, Li Junshan could no longer suppress his anxiety and anger, and shouted loudly, Answer me, where's Li Shaoshan? Wang Chu stood in the air, lowered his eyebrows, stared coldly at Li Junshan, who was already on the verge of going berserk, and said slowly, Don't worry, you can go down and reunite with your dear grandson soon. The voice fell. The Leaf family members who were still chattering over there just now suddenly became quiet, and their pupils trembled. What? What do you mean? Li Shaoshan is dead? Before they could react, Wang Chu's cold voice continued to come out from the Neza mecha like a cold blade. It pierced straight into everyone's heart. The Leaf family colluded with the Devourer. The evidence is irrefutable. Immediately, confiscate the property. The engines of dozens of mechas roared in unison, as if thunder suddenly sounded deafening. They slowly took off into the air, and their huge bodies covered part of the sky, shrouding the entire Leaf family in a shadow. Dozens of pilots who activated the Exoskeleton mecha rushed out from behind and surrounded the Leaf family from all directions. Wang Chu was in the air, watching all this coldly. He thought, having received 9 years of compulsory education, he still had a heart that viewed the truth, goodness, and beauty of everything in the world. However, the malice of the world was far beyond his imagination. It's even more outrageous than a novel. You know, this is an extremely cruel world. All pilots are fighting against the terrifying existence of the abyss. Whether they're fighting against the gods of the abyss or fighting against the pilots bewitched by the abyss. In essence, everyone is fighting for their own position. There is nothing to say, nothing wrong. But now, a child of a noble family, just because of jealousy and competition, wants to take action and bully others with power. As an elder, the head of the Leaf family not only did not stop him, but also indulged his disgusting behavior. For the noble family that has long been accustomed to a high-handed attitude, those pilots who come from ordinary places are as insignificant as ants and can be trampled and humiliated at will. If it weren't for the fact that so many people were paying attention to Wang Chu, maybe it wouldn't be as simple as a lesson. Death is the easiest relief. The panicked shouts of the Li family members came from behind. When they heard the word devourer, their legs were weak and they sat on the ground, muttering, "It's over, it's over." At this moment, everyone's mind was as clear as a mirror. If there was no solid evidence, Lynx would never act easily. Because the reason why aristocratic families are aristocratic families is that they're connected together like a big net, intertwined, as a community of interests. If a family is accused of a false crime, then it will cause a series of chain reactions in other families. What did you say? Li Junshan suddenly widened his eyes, staring at the red figure in the air. At this moment, the news of Li Xiaoshan's death is no longer worth mentioning. When this matter is linked to the devourer, the nature has become completely different. The high-rise building of the Li family will collapse in an instant. Li Junshan's face turned pale, he swallowed hard, and refuted weakly. "You're talking nonsense. My Li family has fought for Daxia for generations, and our ancestors were 8th-rank pilots who made great contributions. How could they collude with the devourer?" Link said slowly. "Give up your struggle, Li Junshan. Soon, you will receive a notice of trial. I have submitted the evidence of Li Xiaoshan's collusion with the devourer to the arbitration office. Also submitted are the dirty things that your Li family has done over the years. All Li family members obey. Give up resistance and be treated leniently." Lynx is an 8th-rank pilot. He represents not only the Imperial Capital Mechanical and Military High School. Behind him, there is an entire Daxia arbitration office. When he moved out of the arbitration office, those 3 words instantly pressed on Li Junshan's shoulders like a mountain. His old face had completely lost the calmness he had just pretended to have. Marula Damarula. This time, the judgment office is really going to take action against the aristocratic family. He laughed miserably. Then, a dazzling light burst out from his body. A 20-meter high large mecha instantly appeared in front of the narrative. Looking over, there were 7 purple 5-pointed stars engraved on the mecha. Li Junshan, the head of the Li family. He is also a powerful 7th-level pilot. Lynx did not intend to give him a chance to struggle. The moment he activated the mecha, the shoulder armor on both sides of the head and the pendants on the rear skirt armor opened at the same time. The fire of the Vulcan cannon poured down. However, Li Junshan, as if he had no fear, faced the fire of the Vulcan cannon and let the fuselage continue to explode. All this is for whoosh among the Li family members who were fleeing in all directions. 2 white figures soared into the sky like ghosts. With a sharp whistling sound, it was like 2 sharp blades piercing the sky. What he was running towards, it was the cause of all this. Wang Chu. Chapter 101. The 2 6th-level pilots were like 2 lightning bolts that cut through the sky. Their speed was extremely fast. Their exoskeleton mechas were emitting a cold light, and the metal shells were shining with a cold luster under the sunlight. The violent energy around them was surging wildly. Boom! In an instant, the roar of artillery fire resounded through the sky. Dozens of 5th-level, 6th-level, and 7th-level mechas of the Imperial Capital Mechanical and Military High School had already made full preparations. One after another, shells poured down like raindrops towards the 2 6th-level pilots, and the shells drew a series of hot trajectories in the air. Wherever they passed, the air was violently compressed, making a sharp whistling sound, as if the space was trembling under this powerful firepower. Wang Chu looked at the 2 pilots falling down and grinned. "Want to attack me directly? You don't take the pilots of the Imperial Capital Mechanical and Military High School seriously, right? No need to do it at all. Fire suppression will settle everything." Li Junshan, who relied on blood transfusion to contain the narrative, showed a desperate expression. After all, still failed to help Li Xiaoshan get revenge. The next moment, dozens of mechas in the air fired together. In an instant, the deafening roar swept in like a turbulent tsunami, and the whole world seemed to be drowned by this powerful sound wave. One after another, the shells whizzed out, dragging long tails, interweaving into a dense fire net in the air. The entirely family compound was flattened in an instant. Wang Chu clicked his tongue twice. Sure enough, all the fear comes from insufficient firepower. Just this firecracker. The mountain was flattened directly. Lynx looked at Li Junshan, who crawled out of the ruins of the mecha with a look of dismay. Several pilots rushed forward and captured Li Junshan in an instant. Is Li Junshan wronged? Not at all. Even if He Guang didn't appear today, He Guang Guang, He Guang Wang Wang, and others would appear tomorrow. This is the price of his expansion as a superior. And this is also the beginning of changing the family structure. Lynx looked at Wang Chu, who was standing in the air and full of vigor. Taking down the Leaf family with a lightning strike was also to help Wang Chu remove the obstacles ahead. Kill two birds with one stone. Otherwise, a rising star, he hasn't started to fight the boss yet. The enemies on the road are all fucking humans. What's this? Is it funny? One by one, the Leaf family members were escorted together. What awaits them is the fate of being exiled to the abyss. They who have long been accustomed to enjoying life began to cry loudly. No, I don't want to go to the abyss. Let me go, I still have a lot of alliance coins. I'll give them all to you. Lynx didn't look at these spineless people who kept begging for mercy and snorted coldly and ordered, take them all away. Yes, it took less than 15 minutes from leaving school to now. This is all for a quick victory to avoid causing more chain reactions. The reason why it was solved so easily is because of the quick cut of the Gordian knot. At this moment, there are still many members of the Leaf family who have not returned. As for those people, none of them can escape. As children of aristocratic families and vested interests, almost none of them are clean. Wait until the judgment is made. All of them will be arrested without exception. Just when Lynx and others were about to leave the Leaf family compound, suddenly, bursts of strong engine roars came from the sky in the distance. Everyone looked up and saw two large mechas approaching this side at a rapid speed. At the same time, there were dozens of black spots following behind them. Who is coming? Wang Chu came to Lynx and asked. Lynx narrowed his eyes and said lightly, the 7th level pilot of the Leaf family. Oh, Wang Chu thought to himself, his face grim. Just now, Lynx told him that the Leaf family has a total of 5 7th level pilots. Except for the head of the Leaf family, the other 4 7th level pilots are all serving in the Alliance Army. As for the confiscation of the family, the several 7th level pilots of the Leaf family will never surrender. Now they are here, the Leaf family members, who had been desperate, suddenly had new hope. Uncle Lee is back. We are saved. Not only Uncle Lee, but also his men. 2 large mechas streaked across the sky like 2 meteors and landed in the Leaf family compound. Wang Chu narrowed his eyes and looked at the 2 mechas that arrived first. As expected, one was engraved with 7 purple 5-pointed stars, and the other there are 7 blue 5-pointed stars engraved on it. All are 7th level pilots. Bang! A brown-red mecha came out first, and a calm voice came out. Principal Lin, I don't know what misunderstanding has caused the Judgment Office to take action against my Leaf family. He asked in a neither humble nor arrogant manner. But as soon as the words came out, the gunpowder smell was instantly ignited. Misunderstanding? What is a misunderstanding? Lynx smiled hoarsely. Then do I have to apologize to your Leaf family for the misunderstanding? The man driving the brown-red mecha was not angry at Lynx's weirdness. He said righteously, Principal Lin, I received news that my Leaf family members colluded with the Devourer privately. But if you vent your anger on the entire Leaf family because of this matter, are you going too far? Oh, Lynx narrowed his eyes and asked back, Li Yongshan, are you going to teach me how to do things? I dare not. The man called Li Yongshan said he dared not, but he had no intention of backing down. Just then, dozens of large mechas landed one after another, raising clouds of dust. Then, some pilots who activated exoskeleton mechas jumped off them. In an instant, a solemn atmosphere spread. It seemed that it would be ignited at any time. Perhaps he felt that dragging it on would definitely be disadvantageous to him. Li Yongshan spoke first. Principal Lin, every grievance has its perpetrator. Since my useless son did something wrong, he also borne the corresponding consequences. Let's end it here, okay? Our Li family will also give Brother Wang Chu enough compensation. Wang Chu laughed at the side. Principal Lynx, you, an 8th level pilot, are too aggrieved. When did the 7th level trash dare to shout in front of you? As soon as the voice fell, before everyone could react, a black shadow suddenly jumped out from behind Li Yongshan. Lynx's pupils shrank. This black shadow is a 6th level mecha, but it is different from ordinary mechas. This mecha is silver gray in color, with smooth lines and full of power. The head of the mecha is sharp like a silver bullet, and its eyes are flashing with cold red light. The most important thing is, he is very small, only a little bigger than the average exoskeleton mecha. It turns out that from the beginning, Li Yongshan's purpose was not to negotiate peace. This matter has developed to the current situation, and there is only one way to solve it. That is, Wang Chu die. Chapter 102. Li Yongshan watched all this coldly. From the moment he received the news, he was keenly aware that this was not an ordinary dispute. This was Lynx, or it was a blitzkrieg launched by the arbitration office against the Li family. After all, they have been waiting for the day when the family would reveal its flaws for too long. And it has come to this. The key to breaking the situation. It is Wang Chu in front of them. If Wang Chu is still alive, then Lynx and the arbitration office behind Lynx will spare no effort to attack the Li family. They want to kill the chicken of the Li family to warn other monkeys of the family and warn the family. The world where the family joined forces to cover the sky is over. But if Wang Chu died, then, even if Lynx insisted on his own way, the arbitration office behind him should also weigh whether it is worth fighting to the death with the Li family for a dead genius. Of course, even if Wang Chu died, the people of the Li family would not be able to escape the crime alive. They were still charged with the crime of colluding with the devourer. But at that time, there was more room for operation, as long as the high-rise building of the Li family did not collapse. Everything will have a chance to regain its glory. Buzz! The engine sound emitted by the thin white figure was extremely strange. Harsh and sharp, it was an engine sound that Wang Chu had never heard of. In the blink of an eye, the white figure had appeared in front of Wang Chu like lightning, and its speed was beyond imagination. So fast, Lynx's pupils shrank instantly. Such a fast speed is no longer something that an ordinary 6th level pilot can do. Even ordinary 7th level and 8th level mechas may not be able to catch up with his speed. It's a jump, short distance, space jump. This is a golden skill that only a few pilots have. The helper that Li Yongshan brought is one of them. It's not too late. Just save Wang Chu at the moment when his mecha breaks. Lynx, who is closest to Wang Chu, is preparing to move. However, almost at the same time, when the white figure rushed out, Li Yongshan and another 7th level pilot who followed him also moved. The two large mechas were running at full power, rushing towards Lynx like a steel behemoth. All the weapon systems on the body, what they have, are turned on, all in. They are desperate just to contain Lynx. They know, if there is no way to stop the action of Lynx's narrative, if they miss this opportunity, there will be no chance to attack Wang Chu again. Before everyone can react to what happened, an invisible but chilling aura of killing spread out like a surging tide, filling the entire Li family compound. Bang! A deafening roar, like a thunderclap. A powerful air wave suddenly exploded, sweeping around like a surging wave. Then, the sharp sound of the mecha breaking broke into the ears of everyone present like a sharp blade, making people feel nervous. All the teachers of the Imperial Capital Mechanical and Military College changed their faces suddenly. A thought flashed through my mind, Myolock, but the result presented in the next picture made everyone's expression freeze instantly. I saw the flying mecha fragments. It was actually white. Through the fluttering and scattered mecha fragments, everyone could vaguely see that a fiery red figure stood proudly, with a pine-like figure, and on the tip of the fire spear in his hand, there is a person hanging? The reason for the question mark is that the figure has been burned black. Wisps of green smoke rose up, emitting a pungent smell of burning. Puff! The next moment, the extremely hot flame swept out from the tip of the fire spear like a turbulent torrent. Are you going to attack me? Wang Chu slowly raised his head, coldly glanced at the people of the Li family, and finally set his eyes on the Yongshan. Neza, the sapphire-like cold eyes seemed to penetrate people's hearts and make people shudder. He gently swung the fire spear, and the tip of the spear pointed obliquely at the ground. The gray-black residue turned into powder and scattered all over the ground. You will scatter all the ashes. Silence. Deathly silence. The air around them seemed to solidify at this moment, making people feel suffocated. Not only the people of the Li family, but also the pilots of the Imperial Capital Mechanical and Military High School, where this sudden scene shocked everyone. The 6th-level pilot who instantly jumped in front of Wang Chu just died like that, and the one who killed him was a fledgling 2nd-level pilot? No. A 2nd-level pilot instantly killed a 6th-level pilot? Is there still the law? Is there still justice? Just as everyone was immersed in this huge shock. A breeze blew gently. At first, they didn't realize what was about to happen. But after 2 breaths, everyone began to notice something unusual and glanced around. Is the wind blowing? In a blink of an eye, the originally gentle wind began to surge wildly. Like a surging tide, it gathered towards the fiery red mecha with overwhelming force. The next second, a flame vortex formed by the fusion of flames and whirlwinds let out a beast-like roar and rose up with a bang. The scorching flames were pulled into countless gorgeous flames in a high-speed rotation. They swirled along the trajectory of the vortex, spinning faster and faster and rising higher and higher, until the 2 7th-level pilots of the Li family and Lynx were wrapped in it. The center of the flame vortex. Eyes met. The atmosphere was extremely tense. Wang Chu stood in the air, suspended next to the narrative. He raised his drooping eyebrows and looked at Li Yongshan and the others and said lightly, "Now, there are only 4 of us. 2v2, fair, right? This is the tomb that Wang Chu personally prepared for the 2. So what if it's a 7th-level pilot? No need to do anything. Just shout 666 on the side. Principal Lynx can easily beat 2 alone." The next second, Lynx took the lead. "Since Wang Chu is fine, then you're the ones who are in trouble." Boom. Narrative. Vulcan mode. Instantly, the muzzles of the Vulcan cannons open one after another on his shoulder armor, chest armor, waist armor, and leg armor like mushrooms after rain, densely packed and daunting. At this moment, the narrative has become a steel behemoth covered with Vulcan cannon muzzles. Seeing this, Wang Chu raised the corners of his mouth slightly, revealing a faint smile. Principal Lin. Rumors. The truth is only within the range of the Vulcan cannon. Let me see if you, an 8th-level pilot, are just a name. Chapter 103, when seeing Lynx in anger and turning on the Vulcan mode. Wang Chu finally realized what a terrifying existence the 8th-level pilot meant. Although there seemed to be only 1 number difference between the 8th-level pilot and the 7th-level pilot, but the gap between them seemed as insurmountable as a natural moat. Even the Spider Goddess, who was the god of the abyss before, only fought back and forth with Baihao's Snow White. The 8th-level pilot is a godlike existence among pilots. At this time, Wang Chu remembered. Although Lynx Mecha is called narrative, but any pilot who has seen his battle scenes prefers to call him Vulcan. Boom. The overwhelming fierce artillery fire was more terrifying than any battle Wang Chu had ever seen before. The flame vortex battlefield he had previously constructed by carefully controlling the power of fire and wind. In front of the tsunami-like artillery fire of Lynx, they were as insignificant as ants. In an instant, they were completely destroyed by the aftermath of the powerful artillery fire and disappeared without a trace. and Li Yongshan and the other two who were targeted by the fire. They could not withstand the bombardment of the narrative in Vulcan mode at all, as a live target right in front of their faces. The tragic degree of their two mechas is outrageous. They were directly shot into sieves. Principal Lin, if you have this ability, what have you been doing before? You're not the one who pretends to be a pig and eats the tiger. If I hadn't had a trick, wouldn't I have been tricked by you? Looking at Li Yongshan and the other two who had become ruins, Wang Chu said dissatisfiedly to Lynx. Sorry, Lynx said apologetically. This man is old, and he has rested for a long time. The gun is a little rusty. Really? Wang Chu didn't believe it. You're not trying to test my bottom line, are you? Then you're going too far. Really not. I'm a dog if I lie to you. Lynx explained word by word in a hoarse and low voice. It's just that I'm old and useless. No matter what I do, I won't bet your life. What's more, this time the opportunity to destroy the Li family was provided to me by you. Alas, he sighed and continued. From now on, it will be the world of you young people. Wang Chu shrugged. Thinking carefully, Lynx's words are still quite credible. After all, the head of the Li family, Li Junshan, has been captured. If he dies, then everything Lynx has done before will be in vain. Well, so, to sum it up in one sentence, Principal Lynx is lame. Bang, bang. One after another, pilots and large mechas with activated exoskeleton mechas landed in the Li family compound like raindrops. When they saw the Li family compound in front of them, which was already like a ruin, they were surprised. What happened here? After a short search, a pilot came to Lynx to report. Admiral Lynx, the soldiers that Li Yongshan and the others brought out from the Alliance Army have been counted. What should we do with them? Lynx shook his head lightly and said indifferently, they just followed the orders of their superiors and probably didn't even know what they were doing. It's enough to give them a warning, and there's no need to investigate further. Yes, the man saluted and turned away. Then, another man came to report. Admiral Lynx found a group of dozens of naked women in the Li family dungeon. How to deal with them? Damn it. Wang Chu cursed silently in his heart. Lynx seemed to have expected this and did not show any surprise. He said calmly, delete all the photos used as evidence and let them write a complaint collectively. No signatures, just a fingerprint. Yes. In the next few dozen minutes, officers kept coming to report. Wang Chu stood beside Lynx and listened to him deal with one thing after another. The more he listened, the more terrifying it became. The treasury that was rich enough to rival a country made Wang Chu feel that the 1 billion alliance coins in his bank card were not attractive at all. Not to mention the various powerful modules confiscated from the spiritual patterns of the Li family members. So, is this a noble family? What? Are you scared? Lynx glanced at Wang Chu and laughed. It's a bit, coming from the countryside to the city and seeing the world. Wang Chu said self-deprecatingly, when I was still in school, I thought that millions of alliance coins were already an unattainable number. Later, I saw the golden crispy chicken that was sold for hundreds of millions of alliance coins, and I felt that the life of rich people was really simple and unpretentious. Until now, seeing the alliance coins confiscated from the Li family, they were not alliance coins, but a string of cold numbers. I am so envious. Lynx tooted twice. This is just the tip of the iceberg. There are still many members of the Li family who have not returned. Of course, they dare not come back now. However, not all the children of the noble families are bad. The Judgment Office will judge all the children of the Li family and divide them according to different situations. Wang Chu thought of Li Tianming, a 6th-level pilot patrol officer he met in Xingqing. At that time, I felt that he was still a good person, but I don't know what will happen to him now. It's really unpredictable. You may not have a clear and profound concept of aristocratic families. Lynx stood with his hands behind his back and said lightly with a deep look in his eyes, this aristocratic family is not the kind of famous family you imagine or a wealthy tycoon. It is a world that you can hardly imagine and touch. There are 5 such aristocratic families in Dacia. Of course, the weakest Li family has disappeared now. Thanks to you, we have the opportunity to take action against the Li family. In order to rectify the aristocratic families, the Judgment Office has been waiting for this for a long time. Wang Chu grinned. If it weren't for Li Junshan and Li Xiaoshan's poor brains, there would be no such opportunity. Is it outrageous? To be honest, it's not outrageous. Just look at my and you will know that some people's brain circuits are really not something that ordinary people can understand. But, old man Lynx, Wang Chu narrowed his eyes and looked at the busy Alliance pilots. The young man who slays dragons eventually becomes a dragon. Isn't the court of arbitration a family in a sense? Lynx. Oh, right. Wang Chu suddenly remembered the most important thing. Before you become dragons, can you settle today's account first? You've put on such a big show. You should pay me some hard work fee. Chapter 1-0 for the fleet of the Imperial Capital Mechanical and Military High School, and the large forces of the Allied forces were dispatched. The noise was so loud that it could not be covered up at all. In an instant, it had caused a great uproar in Shangjing. From this moment on, all the men in Beijing realized such a huge Li family was suddenly wiped out. Isn't this a big deal? At the same time, a familiar name once again entered everyone's field of vision. Fuck, have you heard about it? I heard about it. In Shangjing, from heaven to earth to street stalls, everyone was talking about the name Wang Chu. TSK. The Li family is really crazy. They actually colluded with the Devourer. What's the purpose? That's right. Collusion aside, they're still targeting Wang Chu. Don't they know that Wang Chu is a god slayer? He even killed the gods of the abyss. What about a mere devourer? They are not afraid of him at all. What if the devourer is a 6th level pilot? 6th level pilot? No, buddy, are you serious? Hee. What's wrong with a 6th level devourer? I also heard that Wang Chu killed a 7th level pilot on the spot at the Li family. Isn't an 8th level pilot? Wow. The rumors are getting more and more outrageous. The buddies who understand are popping up one after another like mushrooms after rain. Alas, what you have heard is all public knowledge. You understand now? Of course. I heard the young master of the Li family is gay. This. Everyone took a breath of cold air, their voices trembling. You mean, yes, the young master of the Li family can't get the love he wants, so such a big thing happened. And that devourer is said to be the young master of the Li family's boyfriend. Is this too exciting? Could it be that Wang Chu also? That's not the case. You haven't seen the girls around Wang Chu. They are first-class fairies. It is said that today they flirted with Captain Xiao Mengyin of the Imperial Capital Mechanical and Military High School in public. Wang Chu is also dating multiple women. Chu, I didn't say that. When we left school, it was Neza who followed narrative number. Now we are back with a whole fleet. There are also dozens of large mechas of the Alliance army escorting Wang Chu, who didn't know that his reputation was inexplicably damaged, went straight back to the villa. He glanced around and found that Su Wanking and Ziying had come out of Endless Ruins. That's right, from entering Endless Ruins to now, it's less than an hour and a half. Generally, pilots with stronger attributes can fight more than 10 or 20 floors in Endless Ruins. It usually takes half a day to come out. Urza immediately canceled the mimicry mode of Elf Holy Sword, stretched in the living room, and revealed her exquisite vest line. As for the spider goddess Meredith, she seems to be quite obsessed with the feeling of being an underwear, and is reluctant to come out. That's okay. It saved her from having to walk the bird again after she changes back. Wang Chu sat on the sofa, reviewing what happened in the past hour, and clicked his tongue twice. What a pity. It was all because of Li Xiaoshan's trouble that he only reached the 26th floor when he entered Endless Return for the first time. If they hadn't disturbed him, Wang Chu dared to say that he could at least have cleared dozens of floors. But, for me, the experience has already overflowed, and it doesn't make much sense to continue clearing. On the contrary, I raided the Li family and got an extra surprise. This is a reward that Endless Return can't give. After raiding the Li family, all kinds of modules, alliance coins, materials, etc. seized from the Li family need to be verified one by one and put on the Court of the Judgment Bureau. Therefore, for this kind of things, at least for a short time, Wang Chu can't get share of the spoils. But Lin Ku specially prepared something for him. It was a crystal clear, water drop-shaped gem. Wang Chu leaned on the sofa, holding the gem with the index finger and thumb of his right hand. It reflected colorful colors under the light. Wang Chu recalled the conversation he had just had with Principal Lynx. When Wang Chu took the water drop from Lynx and saw the effect of the item, he was dumbfounded. Crystal of God, rare item, quality, gold, level, none. Effect. After use, you can get an extra construction times. Introduction. The product of the gods. No one knows how this crystal appeared. This is the item I got when I passed the 8th level Abyss trial and broke through to the 8th level. Lynx looked at the god's crystal reluctantly. Originally, I wanted to leave it to Xing, but now, I think you are more suitable. Wang Chu was numb. Are you sure? If Xing knew about this, he would probably pull out all your beard. Lynx laughed twice. Not that bad. Your talent is indeed the most powerful pilot I have ever seen. With a 2nd level body, you can kill a 6th level pilot so easily. In this world, no one can do it except you. Maybe you are the one who can end the abyss. In the abyss. Wang Chu silently repeated these 5 words in his heart. It seems that for the pilots on the blue planet, ending the abyss is a distant dream that dozens of generations have been working hard on, but have not been able to achieve. But as for whether he has the ability to end the abyss, Wang Chu didn't even think about it. It was inevitable. After all, he has already obtained the terrifying talents of Saitama's physique and the last ripple. If he can't end the abyss, wouldn't it be a disgrace to my teacher, Saitama? When he grows up to be as awesome as teacher Saitama, it's not a dream to blow up the abyss with one punch. Okay, then I'll take it. Wang Chu nodded and didn't refuse. This kind of awesome prop. A pilot may not be able to brush out one in his lifetime, and Lynx seemed to know exactly where his upper limit was, and he had kept God's crystal until now. It finally waited for the destined person. Seeing Wang Chu accept the God's crystal, Principal Lynx smiled with relief. Okay, since you have accepted my things, you must take good care of Xing in the future. Alas, my granddaughter is good in every way, but sometimes she's a little willful and arrogant, which makes me worried. But now it's good. I feel relieved to have you taking care of her, Wang Chu. If Wang Chu was playing a game at this time, the game interface is like this. Ding, you have completed XXX task and obtained the item, Crystal of God. Ding. Xing has joined your team. No, I'm going to settle the bill with you, so just give me an item. Who will be a good person and give a granddaughter? Huh, does your granddaughter know? Chapter 105, Pull Back the Thoughts. Wang Chu held the Crystal of God in his palm. Then he squeezed it hard. Snap! Crystal of God was instantly crushed. A strange energy slowly flowed into the spirit pattern. A warm feeling spread in the spirit pattern, and the spirit pattern began to emit a soft white light. After a few breaths, the spirit pattern sent a message. Ding! Your construction times have increased. Currently, the remaining construction times, 2. There are still 2 chip construction opportunities. Wang Chu's eyes lit up. This Crystal of God is so fucking awesome. Those who understand the value of chip construction times will understand. At the beginning, after advancing to the 1st level pilot,
No more novels? Take part in the voting. The most requested novels and those with the most likes will be chosen for publication on euroaudiobooks.com. There, I can upload as much as I want without the risk of receiving a strike. Our 18 novels and other content that exceed what is morally acceptable are only published on Patreon or the free novels page. Remember, the site is funded by donations on Ko-fi and Patreon memberships.